Alley-oop for Carter. Oh, my goodness. Barnes, long shot. Good. Oh, my. It's a three-pointer. Carolina wins it. The Tar Heels win it.
The following is a presentation of the Tar Heels Sports Network.
For whatever reason, Pitt has just had Carolina's number as of late. The Panthers won both meetings between the Heels and the Panthers a season ago by a combined 3 points. They've won 3 straight and 5 of the last 6 against the Tar Heels. Carolina hopes to end that nasty streak, open the new year, and begin a difficult 3-game road stretch with a victory tonight in Pittsburgh. The Tar Heels Sports Network's coverage of the 24th meeting between Carolina and Pitt starts right now.
R.J. Davis, he's going to try a quick three. Yes, from the right sideline. 2-on-1. Baycott finishes the transition hammer. The drive is pass taken away by R.J. Davis. Davis 2-on-2, slips, saves it to Trimble, though, who scoops it in. Rebound, Carolina, it's Davis. He's fouled, and give him it. He got it to go. Has a chance for 3. Pulls up, no good. Washington, the rebound and the putback. Tries the alley-oop, broken up by Trimble. Long pitch ahead, Davis, Baycott for the hammer. Turnaround for 2, he got it at the horn. How about them Tar Heels?
The Tar Heels Sports Network is on the air with Carolina basketball.
This is Dave Nathan. The non-conference season is history as the Tar Heels jump into the remainder of ACC play this evening at Pittsburgh. Jones Haynes will have the call of tonight's contest.
Dave, Armando Baycott and R.J. Davis, they were a combined 6 of 25 shooting in a 1-point loss to Pitt the last time the Tar Heels saw the Panthers. Carolina will need its veteran stars to be more efficient tonight to have a chance to snap a losing skid against Pittsburgh. Pete Chilcutt, former All-ACC Tar Heel, member of 2 Carolina ACC championship teams, a Final Four in '91, and an NBA world champion with the Houston Rockets.
Thanks, Jones. Really excited to be here tonight. First road game of the season in January. Pittsburgh has our number. Looking forward to how we're going to respond to all that on the road against a team that we got to figure out how to win. I think it's going to be a great game to watch, and hopefully we come out on top.
We've got all those storylines on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show, plus Dante Calabria explains the lasting impact Carolina has had on him. We'll bring you an interview with head coach Hubert Davis and comments from Jeff Capel. Pete Chilcutt and Adam Lucas answer your questions about the Tar Heels, and we'll check on scores from around the country, too. All of that and more is coming up as we count you down to tip-off between the Tar Heels and Panthers from the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh. This is Carolina basketball from Learfield.
This is Carolina basketball on the Tar Heels Sports Network, and you're listening to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. Carolina basketball is brought to you by Hunt Brothers Pizza, the official pizza of Carolina Athletics. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show.
Carolina ended 2023 on a high note, dismantling Charleston Southern by a score of 105-60. Within the box score, a number of players stood out, like Jalen Washington and Seth Trimble, who had career highs in scoring. Elliot Cadeau hit for all 13 of his points in the second half, and Jones can't talk about Carolina basketball this year without mentioning R.J. Davis, who made some more history, becoming the first Tar Heel to have 20 points, 10 assists, and 5 steals in the same game.
Yeah, an impressive performance, and Happy New Year, Dave. Happy New Year to everybody listening. We're excited to get into exclusively ACC play now for Carolina. Tar Heels did have that game against Florida State a couple weeks ago that began ACC action, but nothing but conference games here moving forward for the Heels. And, all those individuals you mentioned certainly had standout performances on Friday night. And, look, obviously Carolina's a lot more gifted, as Coach Williams used to say, than Charleston Southern. And yet the Tar Heels still went out there and from start to finish controlled the game. The effort level never dipped. A lot of guys were able to get out there and play. Tar Heel bench was impressive in that game, scoring 43 points. And so a lot to like out of that one. I think the really impressive part about RJ's performance, and we've talked about him a lot here recently, and deservedly so, is he's scoring, but those assists as well. I mean, he's got 203 points in his last 8 games. He's got 19 assists in his last 3 games. So he is scoring, but also helping others score as well. Pete, we've talked a lot about RJ. I'd like to mention Jalen Washington. I mean, Dave mentioned him as one of those guys who had an impressive performance and, checked into that game early. 17 points, 7 rebounds, both career highs. He played some with Armando Bacot, some separately from Armando, and really had an impressive and efficient performance, which he is becoming known for, with that efficiency from the floor.
He really did. I think we've mentioned Jalen quite a bit this year and talked about his potential and can he break out this year. And I think this is really the first game where I thought he came in and looked really strong and confident from the get-go, was confident taking his shots, but also just being out there looked more comfortable. He's a big plus for this team if he can play anywhere near that on a consistent basis. I think we're going to need a lot of different options, and the fact that he does it at his size and with his shooting and ability to rebound and play defense down low is just invaluable. So I was extremely happy to see how he progressed through that game, and hopefully he can carry it over and make it back-to-back.
Yeah, and Dave, I mean, I think it's just one of those words that Pete just said. It's the options that it gives Carolina. The Tar Heels have a lot of different looks that they can show you up front between Bacot, Washington, Withers, High, of course, Harrison Ingram. So, I mean, a lot of guys there that you can mix and match and give some different looks, and that was certainly a benefit in that win on Friday night.
Tar Heels will need contributions from all those players tonight because for the first time all season, it's hard to believe this, but Carolina is playing in a true road game. Never mind the fact that the team has been to Nassau and Atlanta and played that game in Charlotte and, of course, Madison Square Garden. It's a different type of test tonight for Carolina.
Yes, the latest first true road game of the season for Carolina since 1954. So certainly been a while. But as you referenced, I mean, this is not a team that has only been playing cupcakes at home. They have certainly played a challenging schedule with plenty of travel involved, including some games. The Kentucky game in Atlanta was not a true road game by any stretch. Neither was the UConn game in Madison Square Garden, but there were a lot of fans for the other teams that were there. So, and this is a veteran group. I don't think that's necessarily going to shake this team. I mean, Armando Bacot's played over 140 games. Cormac Ryan is right around 100 starts in his college career. So these are older guys that have been in challenging situations. Pete, to me, the interesting thing is just I think Pitt, the 2 games against Pitt a year ago kind of summed up the season for Carolina. The Tar Heels were, I think, at least as good as, if not better than, the Panthers. They led the game here for 35 minutes of that game, yet lost by 2. They lost at home by a point in a game where they had the ball up 1 with less than 30 seconds to go and lost. Those are things that good teams don't do. And so, and that was the hump that last year's team just never seemed to be able to get over. And so while these, of course, are totally different groups, there really aren't a lot of players, honestly, on the 2 teams that were a part of the games a season ago, just a handful. But I do think this is an important game in that regard for Carolina because Pitt has had success against the Heels as of late.
Oh, undoubtedly. You know that Coach Capel is in the locker room going to tell these guys, we got these guys' number. We know how to play against Carolina. And we pretty much know what he's saying. And I would agree with the idea that you're mentioning. We got to come out with a little chip on our shoulder, even these guys who weren't here next year, to have our first road game not only be in conference but also be against Pittsburgh and a team that plays physical, is a great rebounding team. It's going to be challenging. You can play neutral courts and get a little feel of not being the home team, but I think when you get a home crowd and get that home team playing up a little bit because of that, it's going to be challenging. We really got to make sure we come out, I think, early to establish a tough level of play that's going to carry us throughout.
And, Jones, just a final thought here on the injury report. Paxton Wojcik took a hard foul in the second half of Carolina's last game. Didn't return, but not the first time he's been hit in the head this year. He bounced back quickly from some other dings, and I think we expect him to be okay tonight.
Yeah, he's got to be wondering why he keeps taking these blows up in the forehead area. Took one, of course, before the first game of the season, and then took one the other day in that victory over Charleston Southern. Yeah, Paxton appears to be fine. I mean, he was out there going through full warm-ups with the team. Have no anticipation that he will be limited in any way for Carolina, and in fact, just keeping an eye out. Carolina just left the court to go back to the locker room, but Tar Heels fully healthy leading up to this game, have everyone fully available as best we can see.
All right, so some good news there for Carolina as the Tar Heels take on the Pitt Panthers. The team will discuss upon our return. This is the Reed's Jewelers pregame show from Learfield. Tar Heel fans, Food Line is the proud sponsor of the Score to Give More program. For each free throw the Tar Heels make in tonight's game, Food Line Feeds will donate 100 meals to feed our neighbors here in the Triangle. This season, a total of 24,400 meals have been donated to help our neighbors in need. Dave Nathan welcoming you back to the Reed's Jewelers pregame show where we shine the spotlight on Pittsburgh, a team that's 9-4 overall but off to an 0-2 start in ACC play. The Panthers dropped their last game to Syracuse after falling to Clemson a month ago. Jones, nobody wants to get off to an 0-3 start, especially when you consider the Panthers have another matchup in 2 weeks against Syracuse, and that's sandwiched between a pair of games against Duke.
Yeah, Pitt has had an interesting start to the year because their record is not bad overall. 9-4, not maybe ideal where you want to be, but certainly not a bad start to the season. And yet you look a little deeper, and I think they've lost, and sometimes lost handily, to the best teams that they've played. They lost to Florida by 15, lost to Missouri by 7, lost to Clemson by 9, lost that game, as you referenced, to Syracuse the other day by 8. And none of those margins are huge, and yet I would think that would be frustrating for the Panthers. Their best win, Oregon State in the preseason NIT. They do have a win at West Virginia. West Virginia, though, is having a challenging start to the season. They're below 500. So, Pete, having said all of that, and to Dave's point, this is a big game for Pitt. That they don't want to be 0-3 in the league. They need a win against a quality opponent, which Carolina does present them, and they understand all that. And so, for Carolina to assume that it is going to get anything other than Pitt's best shot, I think would be incorrect.
I think you're right. I think they're going to come out and they're going to try to throw the first punch, be aggressive, be physical. They're going to have some confidence, even though they're 0-2 this year. I think they're going to come out with the locker room knowing that they've won 2 last year. Maybe they think they figured out how to beat Carolina. It's going to be a big challenge for us to come out and maybe us throw the first punch, establish early on that we're not going to be the team to be pushed around this year. But it's going to be a tough challenge when they're at home and they're going to be up for the game, like you mentioned.
And that game on Saturday, Dave, probably a game that Pitt feels like it could have won. I mean, they led at halftime of that game, had a season-high 15 turnovers in the loss to Syracuse, and they really struggled at the free throw line. They were just 11 of 24 as a team at the free throw line on Saturday in a game that you lose, by 8 points on the road. And so they probably feel like they left some opportunities out there. And, I would, as we said, I would fully expect Carolina to get Pitt's best shot this evening here in Peterson Event Center.
When Pitt is at its best, they shoot a lot of three-pointers.
Yeah.
They make a lot of three-pointers, and they're really good on the boards.
Yeah, those threes, they shoot a ton. They're averaging taking – Pete and I were actually talking about this before we came on the air. They average taking better than 27 threes a game. They're right at about 28 three-point attempts per game. Just to put that in reference, Carolina's at around 22 three-pointers attempted per game. And so that's a fair amount, 6 more per game on average that Pitt is attempting. They're making almost 10 a game. In fact, they've made 10 or more 7 times already this season, including a game against West Virginia where they shot 38 threes and made 16 of them. And so they are very willing to shoot from the outside. Blake Henson, their power forward's a terrific shooter from out there at nearly 44%. But, Pete, the rebounding, I think it's going to be the bigger, not the bigger issue, but certainly an issue to highlight for Carolina. The Tar Heels have struggled on the glass against the best rebounding teams that they've faced. Remember, they went through that 3-game stretch, UConn, Connecticut, and Oklahoma, where they were out-rebounded by 27 in those 3 games combined. And you're looking at Pitt, who leads the ACC in rebounds per game, leads the ACC in rebound margin, leads the ACC in defensive rebounding percentage. So that's been one of their strengths all year long, is controlling the glass.
Yeah, that's a little concerning just going into the game, knowing, as you mentioned, that we've had our struggles this year, kind of holding our own on the boards, which is kind of a unique issue for us. We're pretty consistent historically. But to come out tonight and fall behind on the rebound battle is going to be really a bad thing to start the game, because I think that'll lead to those kick-out threes. They're shooting a lot of threes. Giving up a lot of offense rebounds is not going to be the way to go. So I think we got to come out again, hit them in the mouth, box out, be physical on the rebounds, and hold our own in order to have a chance to win this game.
That's a good point about the three-pointers after offensive rebounds, Dave. Pitt leads the ACC 35% offensive rebounding. So they're getting more than a third of their misses with an offensive rebound. And as Pete referenced, that's a great time as an offense if you don't have an immediate stick back at the rim to kick it out, and you oftentimes get open looks from three after that. And so that'll be important tonight. Carolina's just got to be able to hold its own on the glass, something that we don't say very often. Normally that's something that Carolina dominates. Tar Heels have to at least be able to hold their own against a really good rebounding team tonight.
Big challenge for the Tar Heels, taking on a Pitt program that last year finished third in the ACC standings, but this year is trying to avoid an 0-3 start. And for whatever reason, again, Pittsburgh has had Carolina's number. So we'll see what ensues once this one gets tipped off. But first things first, as we continue on the Reed's Jewelers pregame show, Pete will stay around. Adam Lucas will join us. They'll answer some of your Carolina questions right before Jones slides over to the Continental Tire Coach's Corner to talk with Coach Davis. That is all coming up next from Learfield. Tonight's pregame show is brought to you by Reed's Jewelers. The official Reed's Jewelers tip-off time is 7:01. Reed's Jewelers, your home for fine Swiss timepieces, beautiful diamonds, and the world's most luxurious jewelry brands. That's Reed's Jewelers, trusted with life's moments. Visit your local Reed's Jewelers or Reeds.com. Let's try to tackle some of your Carolina questions. First one has Pete Chilcutt's name all over it. It's from David Frost. Pete, Pitt seems like it wants to play Carolina tough. What's the best way to counter a team that wants to make it such a physical game?
Well, it sounds easy when I'll say this, but it is actually harder than just mention it in comments. You got to come out and have that mentality that we're going to make, as I said earlier, we're going to throw the first punch, we're going to initiate that contact. I think we have a bigger, more physical team this year. I don't know that they have some taller guys, but they're a little bit light in the weight. It really is about mentality, and Coach Davis is going over that. This team thinks they can beat us by out-toughing us. And I think if we can maybe accept that message and come out with a chip on our shoulder and take it to them, we should be okay.
Second question for Adam. This is from Stephen Smith. Given how efficient Jalen Washington has been, is there a way to find him some more minutes?
Well, I mean, yes, obviously you can put him out there as much as you want, but I think you have to balance that efficiency with how much of that efficiency is because he's playing the minutes that he's playing. If you think back to the game at Virginia last year, Jalen was really good in that first half when he played basically the entire half, but then not as good in the second half. I think he's in better shape than he was last year, but I'm not sure you're ready to throw him out there for 40 minutes just yet. And Carolina's got a pretty good big guy down there under the basket in Armando Bacot.
And really, I think for the first time all season, we got to see both Jalen and Armando play at the same time against Charleston Southern. So, Adam, it would seem as if Coach Davis is looking to find him some more floor time, even though he's not going to be a 30-minute-per-game guy.
And Coach Davis has said he likes that lineup with Bacot and Washington together. And I think, as Pete just referenced, needing a little more toughness, a little more rebounding. Pitt's got one of the top 20 rebounding margins in the country. That's in a lineup that you might see more of tonight.
All right, guys, good stuff as we send things over to the Continental Tire Coach's Corner, brought to you by Continental Tire. It's the smart choice in tires, and for a dealer near you, just go to ContinentalTire.com.
Carolina begins a 3-game road stretch tonight in Pittsburgh. I'm with the head coach of the Tar Heels, Hubert Davis. We are inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Coach, nothing but ACC games moving forward for your team. So many of these games come down to the final minutes. I would think those discipline and details that you talk so much about really come into focus this time of year.
Well, they do. It's one of the things that, we've talked about, to our team, but just how important it is, just the little things, making routine plays routinely, especially down the stretch. And those little things allow you to experience bigger things, in terms of, rebounding and boxing out, taking care of the basketball, 50-50 loose balls, making sure that it's all UNC, executing on the offensive end, talking on defense, those type of things that don't show up on SportsCenter and on the stat sheet, but are very important to the success of this team.
30 turnovers forced and 19 steals for your team in the last 2 games. What do you think you guys are doing so well to force so many miscues?
Well, from a defensive standpoint, I think we've gotten a lot better at protecting the paint, and it puts us in a position to get steals and deflections. We've been more active defensively, and it's allowed us to get extra possessions and get out in transition. That's really huge for us. Other than just having a regular offensive possession, you got to get to the free throw line, offensive rebounds, and then steal the ball to get extra possessions. And over the last couple games, we've been doing that.
One guy who's done that well and seems to have really found a nice role and excel in that role is Seth Trimble. Where have you seen Seth's game grow the most from year 1 to year 2?
Well, just, in terms of his consistency on both ends of the floor, I mean, he's gifted athletically that I think can allow him to be an elite defender on the ball, also off the ball as well, but just his strength and athleticism on the ball, he can really eat it up and force turnovers, make it hard for teams to get into their offense. And then, him getting out in transition, we're doing a really good job of pitching the ball ahead. It's allowed him to have success on the offensive end.
Coach, Pitt's been a difficult matchup for Carolina in recent seasons. Has there been a consistent theme? A lot of these games have come down to the last possession or two. Any consistent theme in these recent matchups with the Panthers?
Well, Pittsburgh's been pretty good. And so, and they're always a tough physical team. And you're right, over a good stretch, it's, these games have gone down to the wire. And, go back to the discipline and the details and just how important it is to be able to execute on the offensive end and defensively get stops. That's something that we hadn't been able to do down the stretch against Pittsburgh in the past. And my hope is that we will do it here tonight.
Blake Henson was an all-conference performer a year ago. He's playing very well again this year. What challenges does he present for you or for anybody on the defensive side?
Well, I mean, he's an elite shooter at the power forward position, and very few power forwards can stay with him out on the perimeter because he's coming off screens. He's doing stuff that, guards, perimeter players normally do. I feel good about the matchups that we have in terms of, Harrison and Jalen Withers and Zayden, their ability to be able to guard on the perimeter. But he's an aggressive shooter. He's an elite, deep range, and every play is looking for him. So it's going to be a challenge for us, but we're up for the challenge of really defending one of the better players, not only in the ACC, but in the country.
This tough stretch for the Tar Heels of ACC action gets going tonight in Pittsburgh. Coach, as always, thank you for your time and best of luck.
Thanks, Jones. I appreciate it.
And that is our final installment of the Continental Tire Coach's Corner, which feeds in nicely to our keys to the game. Remember, take your Tar Heels tailgate to the next level with the new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Jones, my key for this one simply comes down to Carolina being able to hit tough shots against the stingy Pitt defense that's accustomed to having its way on that end of the floor.
Now, I'm just going Carolina's attitude in this game. Pitt pushed Carolina around last season and then told the Tar Heels about it a little bit. Pete, I think Carolina's response to that aggressive play that is coming is going to go a long way to determining who wins tonight.
I agree. You can't measure that aggressiveness, so I'm gonna go ahead and put rebounding as my goal. We gotta. I'd love to win it, like the good old days, win the rebounding battle, but at least we gotta hold our own in order to come out on top tonight.
All right, some pretty good keys there as Carolina and Pittsburgh ready for the tip-off. The Tar Heels trying to start the ACC slate 2-0, while Pittsburgh looks to avoid an 0-3 start to this year's conference schedule. So we'll take one final timeout. We'll come back, have the starting lineups, and we'll start tonight's game. It's Carolina and Pittsburgh on the way right after this from Learfield.
It is early January. That means it is time to get exclusively into conference play. We're excited to do that with you here on the Tar Heel Sports Network. Jones Angell, Pete Chilcutt here courtside in the Peterson Event Center in Pittsburgh. We're joined here by Ben Alexander, our chief network engineer. Adam Lucas going to help us out with stat work this evening. You've heard from Dave Nathan in our Tar Heel Sports Network studio. John Essick is there as well. Whole team's here. We appreciate you joining us for Carolina and Pittsburgh. Let's get to the starting lineups presented by Coors Light. Coors Light, made to chill, an official beer of the Tar Heels. We'll start with the homestanding Panthers, 9-4 through 13 games, but 0-2 in conference play, including an 8-point loss to Syracuse on Saturday afternoon. Jeff Capel in his 6th year as the head coach of the Panthers. The backcourt for Pitt, Ishmael Leggett, a 6'3 junior, transfer from Rhode Island, averaging 13 points. He's a good rebounder, even at the guard position, at better than 6 rebounds, nearly 3 assists per game. He's joined by 6'4 freshman from Baltimore, Maryland, Carlton Carrington. Carrington's had a heck of a start to his year. He is one of just 6 players in the NCAA, averaging better than 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. He's the only freshman on that list to do so. In fact, his first game this season, he had a triple-double. Only the second ACC freshman ever to do that. Dennis Scott from Georgia Tech was the other. Up front for Pitt, their leading scorer, Blake Henson, 6'7 senior. Started at Mississippi, then he went to Iowa State. Now he's at Pittsburgh, 2nd year with the Panthers. He's averaging 19.5 points per game. That is 3rd best in the league. He is the 5th best three-point shooter in the league as well, at nearly 44%. Also up front, Zach Austin, 6'6 transfer from High Point. He's from Winston-Salem originally. Austin at 7.5 points and better than 5 rebounds per game. And then one of the 2 Diaz-Graham twins, Guillermo, his brother Jorge, comes off the bench. Guillermo, 7-foot sophomore from Canary Islands, and is averaging 8 points and 5 rebounds per game. Now for the Tar Heels, under the guidance of Hubert Davis in his 3rd year leading Carolina. Tar Heels come in 9-3, 1-0 in their only ACC matchup. That was back in early December, an 8-point win over Florida State. Carolina sticking with the starting 5 that has become the regular. That is freshman Elliot Cadeau, the rookie from West Orange, New Jersey, and senior R.J. Davis from White Plains, New York. Cadeau averaging 7 points, 4 assists per game. Davis leads the ACC at 21.5 points per contest. He's also at 3.5 assists, 3.5 rebounds, and better than a steal per game. Up front for Carolina, Cormac Ryan, the 6'5 graduate transfer, started at Stanford, then went to Notre Dame, now at Chapel Hill, 11 points per game for Ryan. Harrison Ingram, another transfer, of course started at Stanford, now with the Tar Heels, 6'7 junior, originally from Dallas, Texas, averaging 14 points and 6 boards. And Armando Baycott, the graduate student from Richmond, 15 points and an ACC best 10.8 rebounds per contest for Armando. So those are the starters. The Duncan uniform report. Time to get back to buzzer beaters, blocks, bounce passes, and most of all, Duncan. Welcome back, Tar Heel fans. America runs on Duncan. Carolina, well, first, Pitt will be wearing its home white with the royal blue numbers, letters, and trim. Some gold mixed in as well. Meanwhile, for Carolina, they're in their road Carolina blue unis, white numbers, letters, and trim. They are Argyle down the side of the jerseys and shorts. 3 veteran officials calling the action in this one. 3 good ones. Ted Valentine, Lee Cassell, and Brian O'Connell, the 3 officials here in Pittsburgh tonight. So Carolina and Pitt moments away from jumping it up. Pete, big one tonight for Carolina for sure.
Really is. I'm excited for the game. I'm looking for Armando to have a really big game tonight. He's due. This is going to be a good atmosphere.
Baycott played well, even in the 2 losses against Pitt last year. Had 22 and 13 here in Pittsburgh, 15 and 11 in Chapel Hill, although 9 of his 15 points were at the free throw line. He made just 3 field goals. And I mentioned this earlier, he and R.J. Davis really struggled from the field in that game in Chapel Hill. In fact, Davis struggled in the 2 games against Pitt. He was just 7 of 26 from the field and 1 of 11 from 3 in the 2 games. So obviously the Tar Heels are going to need Baycott and Davis to have more efficient games than that. to have a chance to win tonight. All right, ready to go. It's going to be Baycott and Guillermo Diaz-Graham to jump it up. Lee Cassell steps in between them, blows his whistle. Ball's in the air. Both players whiffed on their first attempt to tip it, and it ends up to Pitt. So the Panthers will have the first possession of the ball game. Henson out on the perimeter, gives it to the freshman Carrington, loops it out to Diaz-Graham, pump fake for three, drives against Baycott, right to the lane, cut off on the drive, picks up his dribbles in a heap of trouble, has to send it back out to Carrington, shot clock down to 7, as Henson has it again at the free throw line, bodying his way in, kicks it into the corner, three-pointer no good by Diaz-Graham, rebound brought in by Harrison Ingram. Tar Heels going left to right as we see it here in Pittsburgh. Cormac Ryan tried to get to the basket, had his shot erased by Diaz-Graham. Pitt, a very good shot blocking team at 5 a game. Leggett for Pitt the other way, pulls up in the mid-range and knocks in the left elbow jumper. It was a good move by Cormac Ryan, but that length.
Yeah, he's very long on defense.
Diaz-Graham was able to block the shot. Carolina the pick and roll. Ryan gets it down to Baycott, too deep, kicks it out to Cadeau. Carolina works it back around the perimeter. Ryan will try from the left sideline. Three-pointer no good, and rebound brought in by Pittsburgh. So Ryan has taken both shots for Carolina. Tar Heels 0 for 2. Pittsburgh with the 2-0 lead and the basketball. Carrington to Diaz-Graham up top. Reverses his dribble to the right side. Hands off to Leggett. His driving layup is good. So Leggett has both the baskets. He is the transfer from Rhode Island. Comes in averaging better than 13 points per game. And he has Pitt up 4-0.
I think we need to establish Armando down low.
Cadeau to Ingram, top left. Carolina works it around the perimeter. They do just that, get it to Baycott. Immediate double team comes. He picks up his dribble, hands off to R.J. Davis, whose floater on the baseline pops out. Carolina 0 for 3 now from the field. So Baycott was doubled as soon as he touched the basketball on that possession. Leggett kicks it out to Carrington, open for 3, no good. R.J. Davis alone for the board. Hubert Davis says run. Davis dribbles it off his foot to slow it down. It doesn't go out of bounds. He's able to go back and get it. Still 4-0 Pitt. Carolina with the basketball, but without any points. Ingram to Davis on the left wing. Thought about the 3, couldn't take it. Has to dribble back out. Ryan has it now right side. Down low to Baycott. Kicks it right corner to Ingram. Pump fake, drive. His little push shot is short. Gets his own rebound, goes back up and is blocked. Pitt, though, can't save the loose ball as it goes over the baseline. So that is a couple of blocked shots down low. Carolina is 0 of 5 from the floor so far.
Pretty good shots. This is as they expected. They got a pretty good high coming off at their home court.
Yeah, Pitt's got more energy than the Tar Heels at the moment. See if Carolina can weather this. 17:29 to go in the first half. Still 4-0 Pitt. Cadeau gets the inbounds on a bounce pass to Baycott on the right sideline, hands it right back to the freshman. Cadeau weaves through traffic, sends it out to Ryan. He'll pull up at the free throw line, no good. Carolina just can't get a basket to drop right now. 0 for 6 now from the field. Ryan 0 for 3, Ingram 0 for 2, Davis has a miss as well. No points for the Heels, almost 3 minutes in, they're down 4-0. Henson, pump fake for a really deep 3, drives in, and Ingram erases that one into the baseline. So Ingram delivering some of the medicine that Pitt has been prescribing as he blocks it out of bounds. 11 on the shot clock for the Panthers.
So far, so good on the boards, making them take tough shots. Defense is holding in pretty good right now.
Carolina, though, just can't score. They 0 of 6 from the floor. Inbounds goes to Diaz-Graham. Ryan guarding him. Ooh, big size discrepancy there. Hands off to Carrington, nearly traveled. Carrington, tough shot on the baseline, airballed it, and the shot is going well before it goes out of bounds. The shot clock horn went off, so that's going to be a shot clock violation for Pitt as the air ball sailed over the rim and was bounding towards the Carolina bench. Diaz-Graham will check out, and Federico, the junior from Finland, will check in. He played well against Carolina in the 2 games last year, had 11 rebounds and 7 blocks in the 2 games. Cadeau to Ingram, right side three-pointer, no good. Carolina now 0 of 7 from the floor. They've had pretty good looks.
Yeah, really good looks.
There's going to be a foul on the offensive side as Henson got his elbow up into the face area of Cadeau in the post. Henson called for the foul. That is the first foul on either team, and it will be a turnover to the Tar Heels. Still 4-0 Pitt. Carolina has not scored with 3.5 minutes gone by.
Still think we need to get to Armando, maybe get him on the move a little bit. Everything's been out on the perimeter.
Baycott had the ball tipped out of his hands by Federico, and then as he tried to grab it back out on the perimeter, fumbled it out of bounds. So a disjointed start for the Tar Heels for sure. That's their second turnover. Or first turnover, excuse me. Pitt still up 4-0. Carrington on the hard drive sends it right baseline to Federico. Now to Henson in the corner. Good defense by Ingram. Wouldn't let him shoot. Now Leggett, who has all 4 points for Pitt, gives it to Federico at the free throw line. Tries to drive and dish it to Henson. Tipped away by Cadeau. The shot clock's getting late. Henson fires up a three. No good. Good box out by Baycott. Wouldn't let Federico get the rebound. Carolina still scoreless, but only down 4-0. Cadeau backing up. Front court for Carolina on the right wing. Trying to get a screen from Baycott. Wraps around it. Sends it left side to R.J. Davis. Davis, hard drive. Gets to the rim. His shot comes up begging, though, and the rebound tipped out of bounds by Baycott. So we're going to get to the first official timeout, and Carolina has not scored. The Tar Heels are 0 of 8 from the floor. Pitt is 2 of 7, so it's just 4-0. And that ball may have been blocked as well on that shot by Davis. Looked like Zach Austin came over and did get the block. That is already 3 blocks for Pittsburgh around the rim. So Pitt 4, Carolina 0. 15:34 to go. First half in Pittsburgh. We're back with more after this from their field. Well, the Tar Heels haven't scored yet, but the good news is they're really not that far down. It's just 4-0 Pittsburgh. 15 minutes and 34 seconds to go first half in Pittsburgh. Our broadcast presented in part by Allen Tate Realtors. Whether you're buying, selling, relocating, or seeking financing or insurance, Allen Tate can help. Allen Tate Realtors, the #1 realtor in the Carolinas with more than 70 local offices and a proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Pete, already 3 blocks for Pitt. They're a good shot blocking team. What becomes important for Carolina to try and avoid some of these shot blocking problems?
Well, you got to be pretty strong going to the basket. Use your body to go into their body, kind of get them off balance. Sometimes you want to drive with the idea of drawing a shot blocker, then drop it off to Armando for a play like that. But it's been pretty good looks. But I think, like you said, we got to find a way to be a little bit more efficient on those drives and maybe get the ball again down low, start inside, work your way out.
Carolina has subbed as Withers has checked in for Cadeau. So it's going to be Davis, Ryan, Withers, Ingram, and Baycott as the 5 on the floor for the Tar Heels. Pitt up 4-0 with the basketball. Carolina came in as the leading scoring team in the ACC as Henson misses a challenge 3. Withers almost fouled him. Long pitch ahead by R.J. Davis to Withers. It's tipped up and out of bounds by Henson. That almost got tipped into the basket by Henson, but it ends up going over the baseline and will belong to Carolina. Got to be careful if you're Withers there. Almost fouled Henson. We've seen the Heels with some trouble in that area. R.J. Davis caught the ball right underneath the basket on the inbounds, sends it in the corner to Withers, and Withers misses the open 3. I think Davis didn't realize how open he was. He could have shot that, but kicked it in the corner. So Carolina's still scoreless, and now it's 6-0 because Pitt banks in a jump shot. It was Carrington to give them the 6-0 lead. I mean, we have gone more than 5 minutes, and the Tar Heels have not scored. They are 0 of 9 from the field. Ingram trying to back in offensively for the Heels left of the lane. His turnaround is no good. Rebound to Pittsburgh. Carolina still not on the scoreboard as Pitt comes the other way. They're going to work it around to Henson. Quick catch and shoot 3. It was online but off as it pops out. Rebound battled for by both teams. Ends up to Pitt. Henson's going to try again. Can't make it again. Withers with the rebound. So it's still just 6-0. 14-18 to go in the first half. Baycott is battling for position in the paint with Federico. Tar Heels try to get it to him, and it's tipped away from behind. Transition. Well, I thought it was going to be a 3 by Leggett, but he didn't try it on the right sideline. Instead, he'll back in, kick it out to Carrington, unguarded. His 3 won't go. Cormac Ryan for the rebound. Pitt's just 3 of 12 from the field, including 0 of 7. Carolina's 0 of 10.
They're on fire.
Yeah, in relation to what we're seeing from the Heels.
Again, Armando has no shots.
Withers to Ryan around the perimeter. Carolina gets it to R.J. Davis. 10 on the shot clock for Davis out in the middle of the floor. He's going to pull up for a long three. Got it!
Hey.
13:37. That's the time on the clock when Carolina hits its first basket to make it 6-3. Multiple Tar Heels, Trimble, Washington, Wojcik, all going to the scores table for Carolina. Carrington tries the alley-oop. Federico can't finish it off. Cormac Ryan picks up the loose ball off the deck. Pitches ahead to R.J. Davis. Hubert Davis yelling, go, go, go. R.J. crossover, drive, can't finish, but Baycott tips it in for the bucket. 6-5, and finally the Heels have the lid off.
That's what I was talking about, driving in, drawing that shot blocker, let him get that offensive rebound.
7 minutes gone by. Carolina down 1, 6-5. The two teams a combined 5 of 25 from the field. Henson's going to try again for 3, and this time he knocks it in from straight away. First 3 made by Pitt. They had been 0 of their first 7. Henson is 1 of 6 now, including 1 of 5 from 3. 9-5, Pitt on top. R.J. Davis, boy, a tough shot. Oh, my gracious. A fall away, drifting 2 for R.J. That was a tough shot.
That was very tough.
9-7, Carolina down 2. Hubert Davis starting to work up a lather here on the Tar Heel bench. Leggett with 18 on the shot clock gets it to Henson. Right back to Leggett, trying to weave through traffic, gets too deep and almost turned it over. Baycott was able to tip the pass that was going back into the paint, but couldn't secure it and knocked it out of bounds. The dead ball allows Carolina
line change.
Yeah, multiple subs here. 3 new Tar Heels as Wojcik, Trimble, and Washington. A bunch of new Panthers coming in as well. So Carolina's going to have Davis, Trimble, Wojcik, Withers, and Washington. Guillermo Diaz-Graham is back in for Pitt. Jalen Lowe, a freshman guard, has entered the game. Jorge Diaz-Graham has checked in as well. So both Diaz-Graham's twins are in for Pittsburgh. 12-12 to go first half. 9-7 the score. There's 12 on the shot clock as well for the Panthers. Lowe has it, the freshman guard, out on the perimeter. Shot clock down to 6. Drives against R.J. Davis, and his shot was tipped after it hit the backboard by Washington. Don't know if it was going to go in or not, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be a goaltend basket to Lowe, and makes it 11-7. Carolina, that is the most missed field goals to start a game since the Heels went 0 for 15 in a game against Georgia Tech in the 2020 season to start a game. Tar Heels missed their first 10. Currently down by just 4, though, at 11-7. R.J. Davis well out on the left side, tries to split a double team, pulls up at the free throw line, misses the shot badly. He tried to draw the foul, no whistle. Here comes Pitt the other way. Low to Diaz-Graham, who hits the 3. That's Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Second 3 that Pitt has made, and they've doubled up the Heels at 14-7. Carolina got to get its offense going here as Paxton Wojcik bounces it in the post to Washington on the left baseline. Back to the basket, whips a pass down low to Withers, and he lays it up and in. Great look by Washington, and Withers finished it off.
That was a good pass.
14-9, Carolina down 5. Pitt has led the entire way. Panthers, after starting 3 of 12, have made their last 3 shots. Low to Diaz-Graham, another 3. That one's off the back iron, no good. Rebound to the Tar Heels. Trimble down with it. He'll bring it front side on the left. Stops on the left wing, finds a trailing Withers. Right side to Wojcik. Wanted down low to Washington, nothing there. Sends it back to the center jump circle and R.J. Davis. Shot clock at 15. Tar Heels down 14-9. Trimble on the drive. His floater won't go. Bodies on the floor. 3 players down. 2 for Pitt, 1 for Carolina. Panthers will wait for everybody to catch up. Still 14-9. Tar Heels are 4 of 17 from the floor. 23.5%. Guillermo Diaz-Graham hands off to Lowe. Top of the key. Almost dragged his feet. Sends it in the left corner to William Jeffress, who's in for the Panthers for the first time. Trying to back in against Trimble. Turns, shoots off the backboard. No good. Long rebound tipped back out to Jeffress, though. Pitt will reset to Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Boy, it is just a car wreck down low and multiple bodies slamming into one another. No whistles. Finally, they call one on a jump ball.
Yeah, they're letting them play. That was some good physical defense.
It was multiple collisions as the jump ball on the rebound eventually is going to go to Carolina as Jorge Diaz-Graham had tied up Jalen Washington. So, just one foul has been called in this game. Meanwhile, the UFC fighters who train down the road are impressed by the physicality. 14-9, Pitt on top by 5. Carolina will have the ball after this from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. If you're a Tar Heel fan, don't just cheer for the best, drive the best. Drive a Honda. Better hurry, they're going fast. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
Well, this has just been a fight so far. Pittsburgh 14, Carolina 9, 10:02 to go in the first half. A reminder that after the game, we'll have our Best in the Game feature presented by Old Dominion Freight Line. Old Dominion Freight Line works hard to be the best in the game and is proud to support those striving to be the best in theirs. That is our Player of the Game feature. Pete, these Lenovo stats not attractive. Carolina 4 of 17 from the field. That is 23.5%. 1 of 4 from 3. Pitt is 6 of 19. That's 31.5%. 2 of 10 from 3. So it's not as though Pitt has been lighting up the scoreboard, but Carolina, it has been a struggle for the Heels to find points right now.
It really has. Their defense is fired up on Pitt's side, and I'm going to go back again. I think a little old school here. You throw it down low to Washington, maybe to Baycott, slow the game down, make them double team, then we can find some open shooters. I think the shots have been pretty good so far, so not a lot of bad shots, but we haven't been knocking down.
Tar Heels come out of the huddle with Davis, Trimble, Wojcik, Ingram, and Washington. Individual shooting, Ingram 0 for 4, Ryan 0 for 3, Davis is 2 for 6. Those three are 2 of 13 for the Tar Heels. So, 14-9 Pitt as Carolina has the basketball. R.J. Davis as Baycott's going to come to the scores table right when action gets going. Trimble dribbles from right to left through the lane, out to Ingram, right back to Trimble. Sends it to Ingram on the left wing. 13 on the shot clock as Davis has it. Well out on the right. To the top of the key. Out to Jalen Washington. Open for 3. Boy, in and out. It was a good-looking shot. Just popped out. Washington, a very good three-point shooter in limited attempts this year. He was 5 of 7 coming into the game. Guillermo Diaz-Graham hands off to Leggett. And a foul is called on Paxton Wojcik. That is the first foul on Carolina and just the second foul of the game. And Carolina is going to go big as Wojcik will check out with Baycott coming in. So Carolina is going to have Davis, Trimble, Ingram, Washington, and Baycott as the 5 on the floor.
Yeah, I like this lineup. Old school.
14-9 Pitt with 9:15 to go in the first half. Dribbling out in the middle of the floor, Jalen Lowe, guarded by Trimble. Shot clock's down to 5. Lowe drives in, finds Jeffress in the middle of the paint. Shot clock's down to 2. Jeffress turnaround blocked by Baycott. Into the hands of Ingram. Kicks it ahead to Trimble. Trimble tries to cross over, can't get free. Now we'll slow it down. Baycott, top of the key to Trimble. Swipes it down low. Gets into the paint, scoops it up and in with the left hand. Nice move by Trimble.
A little patience right there goes a long way. That was a great drive.
14-11. Tar Heels down 3. Pitt has led the entire way. Carolina missed its first 10 shots. Did not score until the 13:37 mark of the half. Guillermo Diaz-Graham over to his brother Jorge. His three-pointers off the mark. Boy, it is a fight on those rebounds, man. Ingram comes out of there with it for Carolina. Almost lost the ball on his own dribble, able to recover. Backing in the front court, right of the lane. Ingram gets deep, really deep, pivots, and he's fouled going up as Jeffress swiped across his forearms.
Yeah, as I mentioned, Baycott or Washington, but even Ingram's a great post-up player. So those are ways to slow the game down a little bit and establish what we want to do.
8:14 to go in the half. These will be the first free throws of the game for either team. 2 shots for Ingram with Carolina down 14-11. Ryan and Cadeau going to check back in for Carolina. Ingram's first free throw in the wave of noodles from the Pitt students, some of the Pitt students, is good. R.J. Davis, his first breather of the game. He'll check out, as will Washington. So Carolina's going to have Cadeau, Trimble, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott is the 5 on the floor. Sean May barking out some instructions to Seth Trimble as Ingram makes both free throws for his first 2 points, and it gets Carolina within 1, and the Heels look like they may pick up with some full court pressure. Inbounding is Zach Austin. Gets it into Leggett, and Carolina will ease up after it goes in, although Trimble is step for step with Leggett in the backcourt. Gives it to Lowe. Hubert Davis not happy about something defensively there from Carolina. Thought maybe Pitt had used a forearm to get some space. It's a 1-point lead for Pitt. Lowe, right side, gets a switch. Now kicks it out to Diaz Graham. His 3 won't go. I mean, the collisions on these rebounds as it tipped into Trimble's hands after the missed 3. Better bring your hard hat for this one. Cadeau well out on the left side to Ingram. He'll try a 3 for the lead. Too strong off the back iron. Still 14-13, rebound to Pitt. Panthers have a 1-point lead in a slugfest here in the first half. 7:28 to go in that half. Low to Henson, who's back in. Henson, right of the lane against Cadeau, is stripped going up. Cadeau dives to the floor. And now Ted Valentine has stopped the action. I don't know for what reason. It will go to a full timeout. I'm not sure why Ted Valentine stopped the action as Cadeau jumped on the ball, unless Cadeau was out of bounds when he dove on the ball. So
I think he said he kicked the ball, so it's a reset the shot clock.
Okay.
Which he may have.
All right, so 7:19 to go. First half, Pitt will have the ball with a reset shot clock to 20 seconds. So it is Pitt 14, Carolina 13. First half in Pittsburgh from Learfield. Carolina trails by 1, 14-13, 7:19 to go first half, and what has been a physical first frame in Pittsburgh. Harris Teeter, the official grocery store of the Tar Heels, offers everything you need for the perfect game day. From subs to pizza to snacks and drinks, they have you covered. Plus, they offer great ways to save every day with fuel points, eVic, and HT+. Visit harristeeter.com for more info. Pete, a little closer look at these Lenovo stats. 16-14, the rebound advantage for Pitt. Carolina 5 of 20 shooting. Pitt 6 of 22. 0 combined fast break points in this game to this point.
Slugfest. You mentioned a couple of times, it's been impressive. Our smaller guys do great jobs on the rebound, blocking those big guys off, but it's a battle every single shot.
This has actually been a 6-0 run for Carolina over the last 4 minutes, even though it doesn't necessarily feel that way, as neither team has been able to find a lot of offensive rhythm in this game. So that previous sequence, the ball was kicked. So it's going to be 20 on the shot clock for Pitt, as they will be inbounding on the baseline right. Long inbounds goes up the right sideline to Carrington. Out to Henson, his long 3, no good. Rebound is put back up and blocked, and then there's a jump ball, I believe, as Leggett got the rebound twice. First he was blocked by Ingram, then he was tied up by Ryan. So the possession arrow belongs to Pitt. Couple of offensive rebounds there for the Panthers, though. They're now up to an 18-14 rebound advantage. They're the number 1 rebounding team in the ACC as far as total rebounds and rebound margin. Leggett drives up and under, can't hit the layup. Rebound to Ingram. Carolina has another chance to take its first lead. Cadeau whips it in the post to Baycott, and a whistle and a foul on Federico, his first. The crowd booing. I think maybe not so much that it wasn't a foul, because Federico had both hands in Baycott's back. It's just with the amount of physicality that we've seen in this game. 6:57 to go first half. It's just 14-13 Pitt. Inbounds goes in the corner to Ryan. Quick catch and shoot is good for a long 2. Cormac Ryan with the bucket to give Carolina the lead.
He looked very comfortable on that shot.
15-14. Ryan's first made field goal. Carrington to a cutting Federico, blocked at the rim by Baycott. Loose ball to Trimble. Head up as he comes front side. Trimble spins to the rim, forces it up, no, and rebound to Pitt. Trimble got deep with a nice move, but could not finish. It's still 15-14 Carolina, as now Ryan and Carrington get wiped out, and a foul called on Ryan for tripping That's his first. Second on Carolina. There have been just 5 total fouls called in this game, despite the physical nature. 6:25 to go in the half. Henson will throw it in front of our courtside location to Federico. Now to Zach Austin, and they've stopped the action. A foul called on Ingram off the ball. That's his first, and third on Carolina. So now Ryan, Wojcik, Ingram all have one. Federico, Jeffress, Henson each have a foul for the Panthers. Inbounds goes to Henson. Baycott guarding him on a switch on the inbound. Henson trying to make a move against him. Drives on the lane and just falling down, misses the shot. Good box out by Ingram for Carolina. Cadeau tried an impossible bounce pass to Baycott. Luckily it was tipped and goes out of bounds off of Pitt. So Carolina trying a difficult pass in transition. It will belong to Carolina. 6:06 to go. 25 on the shot clock. Heels up a point, 15-14. Pitt hasn't scored in 5.5 minutes, but Carolina's only outscored them 8-0 in that span. R.J. Davis back in, replacing Trimble. To Ryan, left sideline. Thought about the three. Instead, he'll drive to the elbow. Pull up from there, short. Rebound to Federico. Pitt the other direction, Carrington. On the left sideline. Looking inside, dribbles with his right hand, back to between the circles, now to Leggett. Dumps it to the free throw line. Carolina giving Federico that shot. He doesn't take it, instead drives in and lays it home.
There's a little bit too much space to give him on that one.
Yeah, Baycott was giving him a good 8 feet. First field goal for Pitt in nearly 6 minutes. Cadeau, crossover, drive, draws contact, no whistle, but he does get the bucket. Cadeau right by his defender for 2. 17-16 as Cadeau laid it in right side. He and Carrington, 2 talented young guards in the league, going at it there. Henson trying to drive on Cadeau. Nothing there. Out to Federico. He'll hand off to Carrington. Around a screen. Elevates. No good on the 3. Ingram soars in for the rebound for Carolina. Heels up a point with the ball. Ingram comes front side. Dumps it to Baycott for the two-handed dunk.
That was a great pass by Harrison.
Carolina now up by 3, 19-16. It's a 12-2 run for Carolina, extending nearly 6.5 minutes. Federico going to get a foul called on Baycott as he got the ball up at the top of the key. Baycott closed in on him. Federico drove. They began to bang, and Baycott picks up the foul, his first, 4th on Carolina. Leggett will sub out. Lowe returns for Pitt. 4:39 to go first half. It is just 19-16. Carolina by 3. Inbounds goes to Lowe. The fewest points Carolina has scored in a half this year is 29. They're not close to that right now. Foul called on Cadeau as now the whistles are coming fast and furious as Pitt got the ball down to Carrington in the post. Cadeau was defending him, and he picks up his first foul. That's now the 5th foul on Carolina on 5 different players. In fact, of the 9 fouls now called in this game, they've been on 9 different players between the 2 teams. Long inbounds goes to Lowe. Heels up by 3 as Carrington gets free off the ball, but Cadeau recovers. Carrington can't shoot from the top left. Going to try and drive, loses the basketball. Cadeau dives to the floor to get the possession. Oh my goodness, they called a foul on Cadeau for diving to the floor to get the loose ball. Brian O'Connell making the call. That's 2 on Cadeau as Trimble's going to have to replace him. Boy, you try to teach your players, and Hubert Davis gives Cadeau a big high five as he comes to the bench. You try to tell your players to hustle, and then he gets called for a foul. Hubert Davis is worked up right now on the sideline, and in my opinion, deservedly so. Lowe to Henson. Ooh, guarded by Davis on a switch through it. Ooh, runs into him on the drive, no whistle, and then Henson lays it in. Boy, Davis got wiped out on the play. Hubert Davis is furious on the Tar Heel bench. Carolina up 1. Ingram's been dry from 3, still is off the back iron. Rebound, Baycott saves it off of Panther. It's going to belong to Carolina as Baycott saved it off of Carrington on the baseline. Hubert Davis will gently place his glasses down in front of us, which is about the only thing that's been gentle he's done in the last couple minutes. Furious at the officiating. 3:46 to go first half. Carolina 19, Pitt 18 in a slugfest here in ACC play. Tar Heels up a point. They'll have the ball from their field. There's 10 shots of the game. They did not score until the 13:37 mark. Heels are 8 of 16 from the floor since, and now have a 1-point lead, 19-18 with 3:46 to go. Pitt, meanwhile, made 6 of its first 15 shots and is now just 2 of its last 15. So both teams have had some offensive struggles in what has been a physical battle here in Pittsburgh. For more than 25 years, Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery has been a pre- and post-game tradition in Chapel Hill. Handcrafted beer, great food and atmosphere. It's where Tar Heels come to celebrate. Pete, how do you try and keep your cool if you're in the middle of one of these type of games where it's very physical, a little bit of emotions running? How do you try and stay in the moment?
Well, I think they're doing a pretty good job. I think both teams are being physical. We just hope the refs let them keep playing and don't try to change it mid-game. It's been a pretty established physical game down low at least, and I think both teams can kind of get into that and play physical, but if they change that, it's going to kind of obviously throw everything into a loop. But I think as of now, I love the way we defended and rebounded.
Yeah, the rebounds pretty even. 20 for Pitt, 19 for Carolina. Inbounds goes to R.J. Davis. 15 on the shot clock. Tries the lob to Trimble. He climbs the ladder and throws it down.
Was there a ladder?
Holy smokes.
That was impressive.
Trimble inbounded it in the right corner, then looped all the way around through the paint and threw it down. And now Trimble defending the ball well on the outside to Lowe. They'll try and match the alley-oop, and they do on the roll by Diaz-Graham. That's Guillermo Diaz-Graham who's back in. He flushed it. It's a 1-point game, 21-20. R.J. Davis on the perimeter to Harrison Ingram. Back to Davis, middle of the floor. Over on the left side to Trimble. Gets it in the post to Baycott. Double team comes immediately. Out to Trimble. Heels work it back to Davis. Shot clock to 10. RJ, tough step back three. It comes up way short. Diaz-Graham ends up with the rebound, but on his backside, and he was on the baseline as he brought it in. So it's going to belong to Carolina. Ted Valentine now stopping the action. Oh, they're going to adjust the shot clock because RJ's three-pointer didn't touch anything. So the shot clock will be at just 6 seconds as Diaz-Graham came down with the airballed rebound out of bounds. So 2:56 to go, 6 on the shot clock for Carolina. 21-20. Heels get it into the corner right to R.J. Davis. Out to Trimble. I don't know if Carolina knows about the clock. Trimble's going to have to fire a long three and knock it in. Trimble had the big dunk a moment ago. Not sure the Heels knew about the clock.
Just like they drew it up.
But Trimble makes Pitt pay anyway. He has 7 points to lead the Tar Heels scoring here in the first half. 24-20, Carolina with its largest advantage of 4. R.J. Davis has switched on to Henson in the post. Finally, they get it down to him, and Davis tips it away into the hands of Trimble. Carolina on the run with a chance to extend this lead. Kick it in the corner left to Davis. Catch and shoot triple off the back iron. No. Cormac Ryan slaps out the rebound, though, to Pitt. It's going to be a 3-on-2 break. Carrington, nice body control in transition, was able to work around Trimble and scoop it in. Nice move by Carrington there. As the lead back down to 2. Man, that 3 from Davis, had it gone, would have been a big one. Could have given Carolina a 7-point lead. Instead, Pitt back within 2. Davis, cut off on the drive, has to send it left wing to Ingram. Wants to get it in the post to Baycott. Baycott literally hopping mad down low that he's not getting the ball. Ingram on the drive, out to Ryan, missed the 3. Baycott, the rebound, the putback, no, but he draws the foul. I think the foul's on Henson. It is. That's his second. Just the 5th on Pitt. And it will put Baycott to the line for 2 shots. Baycott was visibly frustrated that he didn't get the pass from Ingram. on that sequence. Ryan is 1 of 6. Ingram is 0 of 6. Davis is 2 of 8. So those 3 players, 3 of 20 from the floor. Everybody else for Carolina, as Baycott's free throw rattles in, everybody else is 8 of 11. But those 3, Ingram, Ryan, Davis, struggling to shoot right now. Free throw from Baycott makes it 25-22 with 1:41 to go. Second one is good as well. Baycott has 6. Trimble with 7. Baycott with 6. The 2 leading scorers for Carolina. And the Heels will pick up with some pressure with 1:41 to play before the half. Whoa, as Carrington and Trimble get tied up, a whistle, and then Carrington drags Trimble to the ground. The foul's going to be called on Trimble, his first, and it's going to result in 1 and 1 for Pitt. Hubert Davis wants the officials to look at the action after the foul was called when Carrington dragged Trimble to the ground. Leggett's going to check back in for Pitt. Hubert Davis is not going to win this argument, I don't think. Lee Cassell, they are talking right in front of us, and they are not going to go to the monitor. It will be free throws for Carrington, who is a 76% shooter. These are first free throws of the game for Pitt. Carolina's only had 4. Heels made all 4. First opportunity for Carrington rattles in. 26-23. Ted Valentine is doing his best as he comes into the lane, trying to just calm everything down. It feels like this game is towing the edge of losing control.
Look like I think we need to finish this last minute. 41. Finish strong with a. Make sure we get good shots, solid defense, stay out of foul trouble.
Both free throws good. Carrington up to 6 points. 26-24. Carolina's lead is 2. Ryan in the post, passes to Baycott. One-on-one with Federico. Double team comes. Baycott spins away from it, but misses the baseline hook shot on the right. Rebound to Pittsburgh. Rebounds 21-21 between the 2 teams. Pitt can tie or take the lead, with Carolina leading by 2, and Lowe able to tie it on the runner from the left side. Kissed it off the glass. It's 26 apiece. Carolina into the front court. Ryan on the left wing. Swinging the ball low, now finding Davis. Checked tightly by Leggett. Around a screen. Davis falls to the ground. Saves possession, then the Panthers jump on top of him, and they are going to be awarded a jump ball as the possession arrow will go to Carolina. Now Ted Valentine turns and crosses his arms and stares at Hubert Davis. There have been multiple jump balls this half. Now Ted Valentine comes over to talk to Davis, Hubert Davis. 55.6 to go, 13 on the shot clock. 26-26 in what has been an emotional first half as the inbounds nearly intercepted. Federico tips it out of bounds. Carolina will try again from near the Pitt bench.
Yes, we calm down a little bit, finish it strong.
12 on the shot clock. Ryan inbounds to Davis. Tied at 26, late first half. Davis over to Seth Trimble, deep on the left wing. Shot clock down to 5. Trimble spinning into the paint, elevates on the baseline. No. Rebound to Carolina. Trimble missed the putback, but draws the foul.
Very active. That was awesome.
Foul's going to be called, I believe, on Federico. That's his second. Team foul number 6 on Pitt, but it was a shooting foul. So Trimble will get 2 shots. 41.8 to go in what has been a physical first half. Carolina now 1 of its last 7 from the field, including missing its last 5. Trimble hits the free throw. He now has 8 to lead the Tar Heels scoring. Baycott with a foul is going to go to the bench with 41.8 to go. 27-26 Carolina, late first half. Washington came in for Baycott. So the Heels have Davis, Trimble, Ryan, Ingram, and Washington. Second one for Trimble is good as well. What a big half he has had. 28-26, Carolina. Some full court pressure by the Tar Heels. Eases up once Pitt gets it inbounds. Lowe comes front side. The freshman guarded by R.J. Davis. Lowe nearly had it tipped away by Davis. Nice job hanging on to the ball against the defense. Out to Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Backing in against Jalen Washington. Washington stumbles, and that allowed Diaz-Graham the easy layup. Game tied at 28. Carolina's going to use the use it or lose it timeout to set up this final possession with 16.5 to go in the half. Pitt has now made its last 5 shots. Carolina, meanwhile, does not have a field goal in the last 2:35. Game tied at 28. Tar Heels did not score until the 13:37 mark. They missed their first 10 shots, but only trailed 6-0 at that point. Largest lead for Carolina has been 4. Largest advantage for Pitt has been 7 early on. Carolina takes the opportunity with the offense, in theory, having the ball last here in this half, to Brett Cadeau and Baycott back into the game. So we'll see how the Heels come out of this huddle.
I've been pretty happy with the fight and competing going on. It's been chippy out there. Refs are going to have to fight that urge to get it under control, but to be where we are after shooting horrible with that start, pretty impressive.
Carolina will have Cadeau, Davis, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott. So the starting 5 will be out on the floor. It looks like Pitt might be setting up in a zone. Ted Valentine still taking a long chat with Hubert Davis. Inbounds goes to Cadeau. Pitt is, at least for the moment, in a zone look coming out of this timeout. Cadeau dribbling out near the timeline. Game clock down to 6, and then there's a hand check foul on Lowe. That's his first. That's the 7th on Pitt. So it'll be a 1-and-1. Oh, well, they have it as 6 fouls on Pitt, so I must have given Pitt an extra foul. So instead, Carolina will inbound, and looks like Pitt has dropped back into the man-to-man. Inbounds to R.J. Davis, to Cadeau, back to Davis. His 3 at the horn. Count it! Davis swishes it home at the buzzer.
Just like they drew it up.
The officials may take a look to make sure it's a 3. 31-28, assuming it was a 3-pointer for Davis at the buzzer, going to the halftime locker room. As they check that means they're going under the hood. Presented by the Honda dealers of the Carolinas. Take your Tar Heel tailgate to the next level with a new Honda. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today. Seeing if we can keep it here long enough for Lee Cassell and Brian O'Connell to decide whether or not it's a 2 or a 3. It is a 3. So 31-28 is the correct score. Tar Heels on top at the break. Dave will get the Wells Fargo halftime show going after this. Carolina by 3 at halftime from Learfield. The Wells Fargo halftime show brought to you by Wells Fargo, official sponsor of Carolina Athletics. North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard, 31-28 Tar Heels. Okay, Pete, time for the trusted choice of the game. Get your thinking cap on. Brought to you by the Trusted Choice Independent Insurance Agents of North Carolina. They want you to stay safe behind the wheel. Put down your phone while driving. Let's have a hands-free NC. To learn more and find an agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com/GoHeels. What in your mind, Pete, will the Heels need to trust here in the second half?
I was going to go shooting.
Always important.
I was going to go get the ball down low, but I think as we pointed out at halftime, we talked about it, that rebounding advantage, the second chance points was huge. We got to maintain that, if not make it grow a little bit more. That's going to keep us in the game when we're not shooting well.
Yeah, we didn't even really tell you much about it during that first half. Carolina, 8 offensive rebounds and 11 second chance points. Pitt had 6 offensive rebounds, no second chance points in the first half. By the way, Trimble, the leading scorer for Carolina, with 9. First time that he has led Carolina in scoring in a half. in his Tar Heel career. It was the lowest shooting half of the year for Carolina at just 31.4%. The previous worst was 32.1% second half against Tennessee. It was not the lowest scoring half of the year. Carolina had just 29 in the first half against Florida State. So Pitt will have the ball first after they got the opening tip, and then there were 3 jump balls called in the first half. Carrington to Diaz-Graham. Boy, he missed a cutting Austin underneath the basket. Instead, ends up to Henson. His corner 3 won't go. Long rebound run down by Ingram. In transition to R.J. Davis. Pulls up for 3 and drops it home. Ingram with the little bounce pass in transition. Davis caught it, stopped, elevated, and scored all in one motion. It's the largest lead of the game for Carolina, 34-28. Carrington to Diaz-Graham outside the arc straight away, protecting it from a Tar Heel flying by. Hands off to Henson. Henson will try a step back, no good, but a foul called on Cadeau. That is 3 on Cadeau and 3 shots for Henson. So we talked about it in the first half. Carolina almost fouled Henson when he was shooting a 3, and now they do. So Henson's going to get 3 looks at it. 65.5% shooter at the line this season. First one is no good. Also, the issue of 3 fouls on Cadeau.
Yeah.
He is the only Tar Heel that has more than 1, but now he has 3. 19-12 to go. Henson makes the second. He'll get 1 more. Henson does this dribble and takes a big step to the left with just his left foot to kind of widen out his stance before he shoots the free throw. 34-29, the third of 3. Henson's made 1 of the first 2. And he misses. Cormac Ryan with the rebound. So Henson goes 1 of 3. 34-29. Cadeau quickly the other way, finishes in the foul.
Oh, man.
He landed on his tailbone as well. And Cadeau is in pain underneath the basket. All his teammates have surrounded him. Foul was on Carrington, his first. Cadeau is up with the help of his teammates.
That was a great drive.
Cadeau just hit the Jets as soon as he got to the timeline. He's going to walk out to the top of the key to gather his breath a moment. 36-29. Now Cadeau's going to tie his shoe. Officials giving him some grace here to try and recover from that big spill. Free throw attempt is off the back iron, no good. Cadeau has been better at the line, 5 of his last 6, but just 59% on the season. 36-29, largest lead of the game for Carolina of 7. Pitt trying to cut into it, and they do. Carrington hits a floater from the free throw line. Cadeau calling for a screen, grimacing a bit as he comes front side on the right. Cadeau around a screen. Oh, he whipped the pass to Baycott. He and Baycott a little off kilter with one another. The pass goes out of bounds. Baycott thought it was going to be an alley-oop. Cadeau tried to drop it as he continued to roll. The play was there, Pete, just the execution wasn't.
Right idea. Just weren't on the same page.
90 seconds gone by in the second half. Heels up 5, 36-31. Down low, Austin against Cormac Ryan. Turnaround won't go. Rebound, a little awkwardly pulled in by R.J. Davis. He had jumped way up, and then it tipped off the rim in extra time. Carolina gets it down low to Ingram on the low left block. Heels going right to left as we see it here in the second half. Ingram working hard in the post. His shot won't go. Ryan with the rebound and the stick back.
Second chance points.
Back to a 7-point lead, 38-31. Ingram had a good look. Just wouldn't go. 38-31. Cadeau is really laboring defensively, and he's called for his 4th foul, and Carrington will have a chance to complete the 3-point play as Cadeau got the legs of Carrington on the jumper, and he's saying that as he comes to Hubert Davis on the sideline that Carrington kicked out his leg. Carrington will have a chance for 3, and Cadeau's going to have to sit with his 4th personal foul. Remember, Cadeau had the very questionable call diving for the loose ball in the first half. Heels are going to put in Trimble, but you lose Cadeau, who's played well here in the first 2:09 of the half. Carrington gets the three-point play. And the lead is down to 4, 38-34 Carolina. Front side, Davis to Cormac Ryan. Middle of the floor to Ingram, back to Davis. Baycott trying to get position, gets free, and will finish easily from the left. Just muscled himself away from Diaz-Graham.
Got to go down every time to him.
40-34. Baycott slaps it away from Diaz-Graham and picks up the loose ball. But he calls a timeout as Baycott had to go to his seat to get the loose ball. So Carolina will keep possession but loses a timeout in a nip-and-tuck game. 17:27 to go. 40-34. Carolina by 6. Remember, Heels had the jump ball arrow as well, but they will keep possession, and we'll have it after this. 40-34, Carolina. 17:27 to go in the second half from Learfield. Hard-fought game in Pittsburgh, 17:27 to go. Heels 40, Pitt 34. Carolina will have the basketball. Modelo, proud to sponsor Carolina basketball, an official beer of the Tar Heels. That is Modelo. And Fairfield by Marriott, part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels, proud partner of Carolina Athletics. Quick check of the Lenovo stats. Lenovo, global technology leader that has called North Carolina home since 2005. Lenovo.com. Lenovo, smarter technology for all. RJ Davis, the only Tar Heel in double figures with 11. He's needed 10 shots, though. 4 of 10 from the field, but 3 of 5 from 3. Carlton Carrington has 11 for Pitt. He's the only Panther in double figures. He has 9 of Pitt's last 12 points going back to the first half, including 5 of their 6 points that Pitt has scored this half. Cadeau, who's fouled out twice this year, on the bench with 4 fouls for Carolina. Peter, it'll be Tar Heel ball, 17:27 to go.
Yep. We're going to keep up the momentum we have right here. I think go down low every single time, make them double, work the ball around, take some good shots, prepare for the physical play.
Federico has checked in. We'll see how he does against Baycott, as Carolina's going to get a high screen from Baycott to R.J. Davis. Dribbles to the left sideline, out to Ryan. Ryan backing to the free throw line, gets it to Baycott. Boy, it is heavy traffic down there. His hook shot won't go. Ingram's tip won't drop. Rebound out of bounds to Pitt. Ingram just cannot get it to go. He is 0 of 8 from the floor. And he did everything right, came flying in for an easy tip after Baycott's shot rolled off. 40-34. Low back in for Pitt, drives deep on the left and then has to circle back out. Works around a Federico screen. He'll pull up in the mid-range for the jumper, and the freshman knocks it in. So it's 40-36. Carolina has Davis, Trimble, Ryan, Ingram, and Baycott. Carolina by 4, led by 3 at halftime. Trimble well out top left. Handoff pass on the left wing to Ryan. Out to R.J. Davis. Stutter step left, goes right. Really tough fall away. Good for the long 2. R.J. Davis, degree of difficulty high. He has 13. 42-36.
Just make it tough for them. Make them work for their shots. They've been all one-on-one so far, second half.
Lowe trying to drive against Cormac Ryan. Tough shot, no good. Baycott battles with Federico for the rebound, and it goes out of bounds off Baycott. So it'll stay with Pitt. That shot didn't touch anything. 14 on the shot clock. 16:07 on the second half game clock. Long inbounds out to Lowe. Henson. Back to Lowe, deep on the right. Shot clock down to 5. And the Tar Heels get a steal, but a foul is called on Trimble for reaching in and getting the steal. That's his second. Third on Carolina this half. Pitt has been whistled for 1 here in the second frame. 15:58 to go. This possession continues for Pitt after the break. 42-36, Carolina from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. If you're a Tar Heel fan, don't just cheer for the best, drive the best. Drive a Honda. Better hurry, they're going fast. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
22, Pitt 36. Food Lion proud to sponsor the Score to Give More program. For each free throw the Tar Heels make in today's game, Food Lion Feeds will donate 100 meals to a local area food bank. There haven't been a lot of free throws in this game. Carolina 6 of 7, Pitt 4 of 6. Pete, Cormac Ryan, Harrison Ingram, they are combined 2 of 15 from the floor. The rest of the Tar Heel team is 14 of 28, obviously 50%. Boy, they'd love to see Ryan and Ingram get a couple of these suckers to fall.
Yeah, I thought one of these guys or both would get it going here in the second half. I think they're being active. They're still making pretty good plays on the court. If you had told me that would be their stat line and we'd be up 6, I think I'd be making sure to get drug tested because that's amazing. I think the testament to the fact that we are actually doing a great job on the boards.
Yeah, Ryan actually has made his only field goal attempt this half, a putback attempt. Ingram has just had a tough time. He really has not had bad looks. He's 0 of 8, though. 0 of 3 from 3, including a bunny tip-in that he missed earlier this half. But those guys, too good of players, got to figure they're going to start dropping here in the near future. 15:58 to go. Carolina by 6. After the foul on Trimble, though, before the break, it will continue to be Pitt's basketball. Henson has it. Well out on the right. Ends up on the left side to Leggett. Shot clock is down to 8. Leggett, step back jumper, too strong. Ingram tipped off the rebound by a teammate, but able to chase it down before he goes out of bounds. R.J. Davis, long pitch ahead in the right corner to Cormac Ryan. Tar Heels will reset. Davis dribbles from the top of the key to the left, stumbles and falls, recovers, still keeping his dribble. Shot clock down to 12. Carolina got to get moving. Davis, a tough runner, no good. Harrison Ingram, the rebound, the stick back, no. And Federico with the rebound. I think Federico may have blocked that stick back attempt by Ingram. That possession never really went anywhere for Carolina until the second chance opportunity. Nice pivot and a finish by Lowe. Lowe and Carrington have carried Pitt this half. They have 9 of Pitt's 10 points, 42-38. Carolina has the ball in the half court. R.J. Davis being hounded. Gets it to Ingram. Dumps it down low to Baycott. Can't finish. Ingram tips it no good. He'll get it back. Send it to Cormac Ryan. Drives, tries to dish it. It's loose, and then R.J. Davis is tackled from behind. Not sure who the foul is on. It is on Leggett, his first. Second on Pitt. Jalen Withers is going to check in for the first time this half. Jorge Diaz-Graham and Zach Austin coming in for the Panthers. So the Tar Heels have Davis, Trimble, Ryan, Withers, and Baycott. 42-38, Carolina by 4. Inbounds goes to Davis. Quick catch and shoot jumper, no good. Rebound, Jorge Diaz-Graham. Carolina's missed its last 5 shots. This one of its last 8 from the field. Still leads by 4 with 14:24 to go. Henson gets a clean look at 3, no good. Rebound brought in, but a rebound foul is going to be called on Carolina. It's on Cormac Ryan. That's his second. So that's already 4 fouls now on Carolina this half.
Seems like we're getting some ticky-tacks now.
Trimble and Ryan have 2. Cadeau's been on the bench for a while with 4. Heels have not scored in more than 2 minutes. They have led by as many as 7. Currently up just 4, though, 42-38. Inbounds is tipped by Withers, but it falls into the hands of the Panthers. They'll reset it out to Lowe. Federico and Withers are locked up in the post. No whistle either way as Lowe continues to dribble on the perimeter. A screen gets Baycott guarding him. The guard drives in, and his pass tipped away by Cormac Ryan. Going to be a run-out opportunity as Ryan, takes enormous contact, can't score. And then the ball is going to belong to Pitt as well. Ryan wiped out on the layup attempt, and then the rebound tipped out by the Heels.
Yeah, I thought there was some contact for sure on that.
Well, there was definitely contact. Carolina 0 of its last 6, 1 of its last 9. Still 42-38. Lowe dribbles to the left elbow. His pass tipped away by Baycott. Into the hands of R.J. Davis. Carolina forces another turnover and a foul off the ball. It's going to be called on Henson for locking up Withers in the post. That's 3 on Henson. 3rd on Pitt this half. He is the first Panther with 3. Henson leaves and Carrington returns. Carrington and Lowe have combined for 9 of Pitt's 10 points this half. 42-38. Carolina by 4 with 13:45 to play. It's been a low-scoring, physical game. Trimble to inbound, baseline left. Still looking. Bounces it down low, and it apparently was knocked out of bounds by, we were shielded by the Tar Heel coaching staff. It was knocked out of bounds. Withers couldn't handle the pass and lost it over the baseline. So, still 42-38. Carrington lowers his shoulder into Trimble to get some space. Works around a screen. Misses the 3 short. Cormac Ryan in the air. Tips the rebound to R.J. Davis. Comes front court on the right side. Davis to a trailing Baycott. Back to Davis on the right sideline. Heels up 4 with the ball. Ball knocked out of Davis's hands, out of bounds. Pitt starting to do something that we saw Oklahoma do some, and that is stay on. When R.J. Davis gets a screen, stay on him with a double team.
Yeah.
And force the ball out of his hands.
Gonna get rid of that ball a little quicker.
Davis gets the inbound middle of the floor. To Trimble, right back to Davis. Shot clock down to 12. Davis drives right into heavy traffic. His step back is good. Man, how does he do it? R.J. Davis stopped, stepped back, fell away, and pushed it in. He has 15 for the game, 7 this half. Only Tar Heel in double figures. Jalen Washington coming to the scorer's table for Carolina. It's a 6-point Tar Heel lead. Lowe has his pass tipped away. Finds a teammate in the corner. 3-pointer, no good. Ryan battling for the rebound, tips it to Baycott. Here comes Trimble in transition for Carolina. Has to slow up. Good job by Pitt recovering. And a foul off the ball in the post. Going to be called on Pitt, on Austin, as he again was tangled up with Withers. First foul on Austin, 4th on Pitt. Baycott's going to get a breather as Jalen Washington comes in. Henson returns. Jorge Diaz-Graham out for the Panthers.
Calling it a little bit tighter down there. I'm not sure I like that. I like him to let him bang a little bit.
12:40 to go. Heels up 6. Inbounds to Jalen Washington on the left baseline. Faces up against Federico. He's fouled on the jump shot. Federico hit his arm on the jumper, which came up short. That's 3 on Federico. And 5 on Pitt as a team. And Washington, 14 of 22 this year, 63.5% at the free throw line, will have 2 shots. Has not scored tonight. First opportunity at the line. 12:37 to go in the second half as Washington coaxes it into the iron. His first point. Jorge Diaz-Graham checks in. Federico comes out for Pittsburgh. 45-38. Tar Heels by 7. Second one for Jalen Washington. Good as well. Largest lead for Carolina, 8 points. 46-38. Even by going just one of its last 7 from the floor. Carolina's still stretching that lead, Pete.
Yep, defense and rebounding have been pretty solid all night.
Out in the middle of the floor. Leggett, well out now on the left side. Wants a high screen. Leggett gets a switch. Jalen Withers guarding him, and a foul called on Withers on the hand check. First foul on Withers, 5th on Carolina. So each team's been whistled for 5 here in the second half after there were just 13 combined fouls called in the first half in what felt like a physical affair. 12:19 to go. Inbound, taking a long time. Eventually, Leggett able to get it to Diaz-Graham. That's Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Leggett, step back 3, no good. Rebound tipped up in the air, belongs to Pittsburgh. Jalen Washington, though, blocks away the stick back. Trimble trying to go coast to coast. He's fouled at the rim.
That was a great sequence right there. Great defense on that block and ready to get up the court. Push it.
Lowe picks up the foul. Tell you what, man, one area Trimble has improved dramatically is his ability to just push it. He's much more confident when he gets that ball in the open court, and his athleticism can get him to the rim.
Yeah, being aggressive.
Through the foul there, Pete.
Being aggressive is usually never a bad thing.
12:03 to go. Carolina by 8. Now 9. Trimble's in double figures for the second straight game. 4th time this year and 5th time in his career.
Looks very comfortable out there.
He had 9 in the first half as Ingram's going to check back in for Cormac Ryan. So the Heel's going to have Davis, Trimble, Withers, Ingram, and Washington as the 5 on the floor. 12:03 to go. Second free throw too strong. Withers, though, tips it out to Ingram. Carolina will reset. R.J. Davis has it in the center jump circle. Everybody taking a look at Hubert Davis as he wants to call out a play here in the half court. To Trimble, back to R.J. Davis. Shot clock down to 6. Davis behind the screen, long 3. Off the back iron, no. Rebound to Carrington in Pittsburgh. Heels up 9, their largest advantage. Had a couple of chances to get it to double figures. Couldn't do it, and then Carrington hits a 3 on the other side. It's just the 3rd made 3 tonight for Pitt in 20 attempts, but that's a big one as it cuts the lead right back down to 6. Seth Trimble in the front court is tackled to the ground. No whistle. Loose ball to Pitt. And then Pitt loses it out of bounds.
Oh,
they're going to say,
yeah.
It had to go off legged. He fell down and kicked it out of bounds. But they're giving the ball to Pittsburgh.
That was definitely off his leg, yeah. Oh, they're calling a foul.
Oh, they've called a foul on the Tar Heels.
I'm not sure what they called.
We'll wait and see. I think they must have called a foul. There's no way that ball was out off Carolina. 11:18 to go. And it will belong to Pitt after this. Tar Heels by 6, 47-41 from Learfield. $11:18 to go. Carolina 47, Pitt 41. So at the end of that scrum, at the end of that last play, they did just rule out of bounds off Carolina after Trimble was taken down in the middle of the floor. That led to a run out for Pitt. Ishmael Leggett looked like he lost it off his leg out of bounds, but it was ruled off the Tar Heels. So we'll stay with Pitt. 24 on the shot clock, 11:18 on the game clock. We're brought to you in part by the Good Feet Store. Foot, knee, hip, or back pain. Good Feet Arch Supports are engineered to support all 4 arches and provide pain relief, balance, and comfort. Try them for yourself. Book your free fitting today at goodfeet.com. Reminder that score is on the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Brought to you by Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what they do best. 47-41. Heels just one of their last 8, 6 of 16 shooting this half. Pitt is only 5 of 14 from the floor this half as well. Neither team shooting well for the game. Carolina 33%, Pitt 35%. Those are some Lenovo stats. So, Pete, it's going to be Davis, Ryan, Withers, Ingram, and Washington, 5 on the floor for Carolina.
I like that lineup, especially from a defensive perspective. Those guys are all been doing a great job tonight, pressuring those three-point shooters, being athletic down low with Jalen. Rebounding has been a great job throughout the whole team. So good stretch here, but it's important to maintain that physical mentality we started the whole game.
Yeah, Ingram actually has a career-high 12 rebounds, but he's 0 of 10 from the floor. 2 points on a couple of free throws in the first half. Baycott will check in next opportunity. A switch has Jalen Washington guarding Carrington. Carrington fires up a 3 and airballed it from the right wing, sailed it over the rim. Out of bounds to the Tar Heels.
Looks like we're going for another big lineup.
Yeah, who is Carolina? Baycott's going to replace Withers. So you're right, Pete. They'll have Davis, Ryan, Ingram, Washington, and Baycott as the 5 on the floor. Still 47-41 Carolina. Still 11 minutes to go. Feel like every minute is a lifetime. Ingram backing in left of the lane against Carrington. Spins, sends it out to Cormac Ryan. He'll take a dribble in, pull up from the right elbow and swish it home.
Yeah, he looked very comfortable on that shot.
Good pass by Ingram as well to find Ryan, and he didn't rush the 3.
No, looked really, really smooth.
49-41, 8-point Carolina lead. Long jump shot missed by Pitt, and a foul on the rebound called on the Panthers. It's going to be called on Jorge Diaz-Graham for pushing off on the rebound. That's 7 fouls on Pitt, so that means 1-1 for Carolina. I believe Jalen Washington will be the shooter for Carolina. It is going to be Jay Wash at the line for the 1-1. 10:33 to go, 49-41 Carolina. So 17 fouls now on Pitt. Carolina's been whistled for 5. 1-1 for Washington. Too strong. Rebound to Pitt, and Washington picks up the foul. It caromed hard back towards the Tar Heel bench. Washington went after it and picked up his foul, his first. So Washington, who had just made 2 free throws a minute ago, can't convert on the 1-1. Carolina has a team 9 of 12 at the line. Henson pulls up, trying to force one against R.J. Davis at the free throw line, just looking for the foul that he didn't get, and comes up way short and out of bounds on the jumper.
We've done a great job on him tonight for sure.
RJ has been switched onto him a couple times and has been up to the challenge. Henson 6'7", 235. 49-41. Ingram on the left sideline for Carolina, starting to back in against Carrington. Still dribbling and backing his. No, he didn't hook it. Instead got it to Baycott. Too deep for Armando to do anything with it. Sends it out to Cormac Ryan. Drives, leaves it for Washington. He fumbled it. Carolina has to reset. Still 7 on the shot clock for Ingram. Ingram dumps it to Washington. He can't finish from the right side. Ball's loose on the ground. Both teams fight for it. Pitt out of there with it. Panthers have numbers because Washington and Baycott were on the ground, and that's going to turn into a dunk on the other side because Diaz-Graham, one brother, Jorge, found the other, Guillermo, for the dunk because Carolina just couldn't get back in time. It's 49-43, 9:30 to go. Both teams 2 of their last 10 from the field, and Davis loses it off his leg on the dribble. Out of bounds. Turnovers. That's just the 6th of the game for Carolina. And make it 5th of the game. No, it is the 6th. That's correct. And 7 for Pitt. But it's a big one because it gives the ball to the Panthers. Carolina subs, brings in Trimble. Davis, Trimble, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott. Carolina by 6, 49-43. Henson guarded by Ingram well out. Gets it to Diaz-Graham. Carrington drives on the left, sends it in the corner. 3-pointer is an air ball. Diaz-Graham, though, with the rebound over top of Trimble. Once he missed it, twice he tried it, but there's a foul called on Trimble trying to box out against Diaz-Graham.
Yeah, that was a big mismatch on the boards on that one.
That's 7 fouls now on Carolina. It will be a 1-1 for Guillermo Diaz-Graham, who is a 51.5% shooter. 9:04 to go, 49-43. Free throw good, though, by Diaz-Graham, so he'll get the back end of the 1-1. Carolina's lead down to 5, 49-44. Both teams subbing. Withers is going to get Trimble. That's 3 fouls on Trimble. Cadeau's been on the bench for nearly 10 minutes with 4 fouls. Diaz-Graham 1 of 2 at the line. The rebound slapped out to the sideline. Henson will try a 3. It spins out. And then Baycott is fouled on the rebound. Foul is on Diaz-Graham, Guillermo Diaz-Graham, his first.
Oh, boy.
That's the 8th on Pitt. And so another 1-1 coming for Baycott. Carolina got fortunate low, chased down the long rebound, found Henson, but the 3 spun out. Pete, you gave it an oh boy. What were you oh boying?
That could have been a huge swing right there. A little momentum changer. Could have got the crowd back into it.
Ted Valentine did take a quick look at the monitor. 1-1 for Baycott. Washington just missed the front end of a 1-1 a moment ago. Heels up 5, 49-44. Swish from Baycott. He's up to 9 points and 6 rebounds. 50-44. Carolina by 6. Baycott got them both. 4 of 4 tonight. 51-44. Carrington has been a problem. Comes front side to Lowe, who's also played well. 2 freshman guards for Pitt. To Diaz-Graham. Drives to the left elbow, picks up his dribble, pivoting around, sends it out to Henson. Henson going to try another long, tough 3. No good. R.J. Davis with the rebound, but a foul called on Withers on the rebound. His second, 8th on Carolina, so 1-1 coming for Jorge Diaz-Graham. He is a 77% shooter in limited attempts, 10 of 13 on the year. Pitt is 3 of 25 from 3. Henson 1 of 10. Jorge Diaz-Graham 1-1 with 8:36 to go. Cadeau going to check in if this first free throw goes in. It does not. Rebound Baycott. Had it stripped away, though. Diving to the floor, and what's the call? It's going to belong to Carolina as Pitt dove to the floor. Guillermo Diaz-Graham to try and pick up the loose ball and slid onto the sideline in doing so. R.J. Davis is going to get a breather. I think this might be the first time he's been out this half with Cadeau coming in. Cadeau, Ryan, Withers, Ingram, and Baycott. Carolina by 7, 51-44. Ryan into the post to Baycott. Well out, double team comes. Baycott dribbles out of it, sends it to Ryan. Attacking on the right, passes to Withers, now to Baycott. Oh, he's going to try a three-pointer. No. Ryan slaps the rebound, and it's going to be a foul on Ryan. Baycott now 2 of 6 this season from 3. I'm not sure that's the shot Carolina wanted. It was open, but look, it's a 7-point game, a big possession.
Yeah.
Baycott can make that shot, but it is not the first option. The foul on Ryan, his third. And it's a 1-1 for Carlton Carrington at the line, who is 3 of 3 today. This is a 1-1 with 8:07 to go. And he switched it home. He'll get the back end. Carrington's the leading scorer for Pitt, now with 15 points. Guillermo Diaz-Graham has 10 for Carolina. Davis with 15. Trimble with 10. Baycott has 10. 51-45. 51-46.
Really important to get some good shots here. This is an important stretch of the game.
Carolina leads by 5, led by 3 at halftime. Cadeau, tough bounce pass in the right corner to Ingram. Backing in. Pitt sagging down, trying to force Ingram to do something, which he does. A backdoor pass to Withers, fouled as he tried to dunk it in. Withers took a hard spill. Foul called on Guillermo Diaz-Graham, trying to block it at the rim. His second foul. And the 9th foul on Pitt, but it will be 2 shots for Withers, fouled on the dunk. 7:49 to play. Carolina 51, Pitt 46 from Learfield.
We're on the road with Honda dealers of the Carolinas. If you're a Tar Heel fan, don't just cheer for the best, drive the best. Drive a Honda. Better hurry, they're going fast. See your Honda dealer of the Carolinas today.
Jalen Withers, 12 of 14 at the free throw line this year, will be there for 2 shots for Carolina when action resumes. 7:49 to go. Heels 51, Pitt 46. Brought to you in part by Kohl's and Kohl's.com. That's KOHLS.com. And Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina, official health insurance partner of Carolina Athletics. Believes in inclusive community. It's a healthy community. Here for the Tar Heels, here for all. Some Lenovo stats this half. Tar Heels just 7 of 19 shooting, 37%, 1 of 3 from 3, 5 of 8 at the free throw line. Pitt is 6 of 22 shooting, 27%, 1 of 11 from 3, 5 of 9 at the free throw line this half. Tar Heels do not have a made field goal in more than 3 minutes, and yet they still lead by 5. 7:49 to go. Pete, it's been nip and tuck all night long.
It has. I think down the stretch, I love that last possession, getting Harrison down low, taking his time, reading the defense. That's a good shot we got. Those are going to be good shots we need to take down the stretch. We can't afford to take, threes or bad shots against good set defense. I like the way that last possession unfolded. Let's keep it up just like that.
So 2 shots coming for Withers with the Heels up 5, 51-46. First one is good. His 3rd point of the night. So 9 fouls on each team. So both teams will be in the double bonus the rest of the way. This was a 2-shot foul because it was on a shot, and Withers coolly hits them both. 53-46, Carolina by 7. R.J. Davis going to check back in for the Tar Heels next chance. Pitt has it well out near the timeline. Carrington. Now he dribbles to the right baseline. Now he's going to try and back in against Cormac Ryan. Step through, shot no good, and a late whistle and a foul called on Ryan. That's 4 on Ryan. So now Cadeau and Ryan each have 4. Trimble has 3 for Carolina. This game now just grinding to a halt. 7:30 still to go, but all these fouls. Now 19 of them called between the 2 teams here in the second half.
Yeah, they've definitely picked up the calling of those fouls. That was probably a little push on Cormac.
Carrington, his first miss. He had made his first 5 tonight. There were 13 fouls called between the 2 teams in the first half. There have been 19 called this half with 7:30 to go. Carrington goes 1 of 2. He's up to 16 points, 3 off his freshman season high. Carolina by 6. Withers, front court, middle of the floor to R.J. Davis, who came in for Ryan with those fouls, to Ingram. Double team comes as he tries to back in, sends it back out to Davis. Back to Ingram, faces up. Ingram without a field goal tonight, spins up in traffic, has his shot blocked out of bounds. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Ingram now 0 of 11 from the floor. 10 on the shot clock, 7:10 on the game clock. Heels up 6. Tar Heels don't have a field goal in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Inbounds goes to Baycott, back to the basket. Out to Davis. Now to Baycott. Shot clock is getting low. Davis to a cutting Baycott. Pull up. Too strong. Withers with the tip dunk with the left hand. Way up in the air for the flush.
That was impressive. That was a great attack the rim.
55-47. Carolina now with 15 second chance points to just 1 for Pitt. First field goal in nearly 4 minutes for the Tar Heels. Carrington, tough fall away. Short, Ingram cleans the glass. Get it to R.J. Davis. He'll take a look at Hubert Davis, who wants them to slow it down and set up in the half court. 6:29 to go. Carolina up 8. Cadeau has it between the circles. Gets a screen from Baycott. Cadeau. Out to Davis. Extra pass to Withers. Jab step, drive, and he's going to be called for an offensive foul. Withers is still down. He got hit in the back of the head. Boy, that's a tough foul on Withers. His 3rd.
No. I couldn't see it from the replay.
It will belong to Pitt, even though it's 11 fouls now on Carolina. The offensive foul doesn't result in free throws. 6:15 to go. Withers leaves and Trimble returns. Trimble has 3 fouls. Low, blocked out of bounds by Baycott as he drove left of the lane. That's now 7 blocks for Carolina, 8 blocks for Pitt. Lobbing inbounds goes to Henson. The left elbow now to Carrington. Trimble trying to guard him. Carrington out to Diaz-Graham. Pump fake on the 3. Now he tries to back in against Baycott. Pivot, shoots, can't finish. Ingram with the rebound. Carolina on the move with 5:50 to go. R.J. Davis to a trailing Ingram right to the cup, and he lays it in.
The drought is over.
Ingram gets his first field goal to give the Tar Heels a 10-point lead. Timeout Pitt. Comes at the 5:45 mark. We'll keep it here in Pittsburgh. 57-47. Carolina, there hadn't been a lot of fast break points, 8 of them for the Heels, but those 2 were big as Davis found Ingram running to the rim, got him the ball right around the top of the key, and he went right to the 10 to lay it home. Pete, 57-47.
That was impressive. You know, that was a good example of someone who's not shooting well, but he's doing so many other things on the court. I don't know what his career high in rebounds are.
He's got it tonight, 13. Yeah. He also has 3 assists.
Good decisions. Active on the boards, solid on defense on one of their best players. The shot isn't falling, but that's a great example of why you can do other things to stay on the court.
57-47 Carolina, 5:45 to go. Each team will have 2 timeouts remaining. Each team in the double bonus. Possession arrow belongs to Carolina. Heels come out with Cadeau, Davis, Trimble, so the 3 guards. Ingram and Baycott. Cadeau playing with 4 fouls. Ryan on the bench with 4 fouls. Trimble playing with 3 fouls. Withers on the bench with 3 fouls. For Pitt, Henson and Federico each have 3. Henson on the floor. Federico is not. Trimble trying to stay in front of Carrington. Drives right to the lane. A wild shot. No good. Rebound to Ingram. Ingram will ease it up. Carolina's got to get front court. The shot clock is wrong. Yeah, the shot clock never reset once Carolina got possession. And so it had actually ticked down to about 7 seconds. So the officials are going to have to look at this and check the shot clock to get it correctly set. They put it at 22 seconds. 5:22 on the game clock. Cadeau will receive the inbounds from Davis. Ooh, tough pass to Trimble, almost taken away. Trimble right back to Cadeau, and then Cadeau turns it over. Here comes Pitt the other way. Carrington in transition, stops, leaves it for Henson, and he gets the layup. Cormac Ryan going to come to the scorer's table. Carolina up 8, 57-49 after the turnover. Just the 8th of the night for Carolina, but a costly one. Ingram. And try and back in left of the lane against Carrington. Takes a couple of hard dribbles. Out to Trimble. Didn't take the 3. Jab step. Drives. Finds Davis on the left sideline. Shot clock's down to 7. Davis in trouble. Tried to shoot it. Had it tipped away. Recovered and then threw it away. Cadeau's going to come out. Cormac Ryan come in. So Carolina has turned it over on the last 2 possessions after having just 7 all night up to that point. 57-49, Carolina by 8. 4:35 to go. Some high dribble handoffs for Pitt. Lowe has it out to Guillermo Diaz-Graham. Back to Lowe. Drives right to the lane and a foul called on R.J. Davis. Just the first on Davis. And Lowe, who has not taken many free throws this year, just 8 all season. He's made 6 of them. 4 of his 8 attempts were last game, where he went just 2 of 4. He'll have 2 shots here with 4:25 to go. 57-49, Carolina by 8. But the free throw is good. Pitt has scored the last 3 after the Tar Heels led by 10. 57-50. Second one for the left-handed Lowe is good as well. Lowe up to 10 in double figures for the second time this year. Carolina, 2 straight turnovers and 3 turnovers on its last 4 possessions. Got to have a good one here. The 10-point lead has been whittled down to 6. Ingram to Ryan in the corner. Down to Baycott. Extra pass to Ingram. Will try the 3. Give it to him from the top right.
He's on fire.
60-51. Ingram gives Carolina the 9-point lead. He hadn't made a 3 all night. Henson. Hands off to Leggett. Now to Lowe. Guillermo Diaz-Graham will try and answer. Well off. Long rebound. Saved, but into the hands of Baycott at the timeline. He'll slow. Well, I thought he was going to slow it up to Trimble. Back to Baycott. Slow that up, baby. 2-handed dunk. 62-51. Carolina by 11 with 3:33 to go. Carrington front side. Diaz-Graham tipped away by Baycott into the backcourt, though. Henson goes to get it. 15 on the shot clock. Henson loses it again, but it bounces to Lowe. Pitt's almost turned it over twice. Lowe driving against Davis. Fall away, right side, no good. Rebound, Ingram and Baycott battle for it, and Baycott saves it off of Pitt. The Heels will have it after this. 3:13 to go. Carolina 62, Pitt 51. Tar Heels have made 4 in a row, including that big dunk by Baycott in transition a moment ago. Heels up 11, 3:13 to play from their field. Carolina 62, Pitt 51, 3:13 to play. Carolina will have the basketball when action resumes. Both teams will be in the double bonus. Pitt's been whistled for 9 fouls. Carolina's over the 10 foul mark. Timeouts, each team with 2, and the possession arrow belongs to Carolina. We'll give you some stats here in a moment, but let's break 10 seconds for station ID. Down the line, Heels up 11, 3:13 to go on the Tar Heels Sports Network. Jones Angel Pete Chilcutt here with courtside in Pittsburgh. Adam Lucas doing some stat work. Ben Alexander, our chief network engineer. Dave Nathan, John Essick, both in our Tar Heel Sports Network studios. Carolina led by 15 R.J. Davis points. He has needed 15 shots to get them. 12 points, 10 rebounds for Baycott, so his 6th double-double this year, 74th of his career. Ingram has a career-high 14 rebounds, just 7 points. He's just 2 of 13 from the field. Has hit some big shots here as of late, though. Seth Trimble has 10 points for Carolina. Carrington pacing Pitt with 17. Guillermo Diaz-Graham and Jalen Lowe have 10 each for the Panthers as well. Pitt showing some full-court pressure here with Carolina up 11 and 3:13 to go. They get it into R.J. Davis. Pitt, it's more of a zone pressure. Davis able to break it. Boy, he's taking a lot of contact as he comes up the sideline. Then there's going to be a jump ball called. Possession arrow to Carolina. 3:05 to go. So Pitt was hounding Davis physically the whole way, but that does flip the arrow. Carolina will have it, though, after that jump ball. Davis, Trimble, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott. Carolina going to try and set a high screen for Davis. Dribbles to the left. One-handed push pass to Ryan. Now to Ingram on the right. And a foul off the ball. Lee Cassell almost apologetic that he had to call the foul on Federico, not wanting to call one off the ball at this juncture, but he and Baycott were all wrapped up. Foul on Federico, his 4th, and that'll put Baycott to the line for 2 shots. 2:52 now to play, 62-51. 2 free throws for Baycott. First one's good. 2,000 career points now for Armando Baycott. He is 7th all-time in Tar Heel history in scoring. Give him 2001. 64-51, Heels up 13, 2:50 to go. Lowe comes front side for Pittsburgh. Around a couple of screens. The freshman hands off to another first-year player, Carrington. Now Henson has it deep on the left, middle of the floor to Carrington. Shot clock's down to 13 here. Carrington drives. His fall away is short. Ingram way up in the air for his 15th rebound. He has already set a career high. Davis to Ingram. Extra pass to Ryan. Ryan, smart play, doesn't take the shot even though he was open. Carolina up 13, wants to burn some clock. Davis has it now. Shot clock down to 10. Game clock at 2:10. Davis going to get a high screen from Ingram. Dribble, sends it back to Ingram. He'll try another 3. It's short. Baycott tried to tip the rebound back into play, but was out of bounds as he did so. 2:02 to go. Ingram claiming that was blocked. I don't think he has much of a case. It was an open look. He just came up short. 1:55 to play. Pitt with it in the half court. Heels up 13. 64-51. Leggett jab, step, and drive against Cormac Ryan. And an offensive foul called off the ball on Pittsburgh. It's called on Lowe off the ball. That's his third. Won't result in free throws for Carolina, but they will get possession.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened over there.
Ingram holding it waist high, now to Trimble, middle of the floor. Carolina again wanting to burn some clock. R.J. Davis has it near the timeline, well out on the left. 90 seconds to go. Heels up 13. Davis checks the clock. Now he attacks. Jump stop at the ACC logo. His push shot is short. Two teams battle for it. Ends up to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh on the run. Carrington will stop and pop for the three. It's good in transition, and Pitt takes a timeout. Carrington, the only Pitt player to make a three-pointer this half, gets the deficit for the Panthers down to 10. Carrington also now has a career-high 20 points on 6 of 15 shooting, 2 of 7 from 3, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. He makes it 64-54. Pitt's just second made field goal in the last 13 attempts. Carolina has gone dry here these last few possessions as they've tried to burn clock, which they've done successfully. But with 1:16 to go, the lead is 10. Yeah. Carolina will be inbound.
I'd like to see him post up either Armando or Harrison, maybe about 15 seconds left on the clock, let them kind of milk that down, make a good decision down low. What they're doing now is just holding it. They're getting out of the rhythm a little bit. So keep on running the offense, but with the goal of getting it down low.
See if Pitt wants to foul yet. Don't know if they want to get closer before they feel like they want to start fouling. Of course, Tar Heels would want Davis or Ryan at the line, just percentage-wise. Davis at nearly 95% coming into this game, Ryan at 90%. Tar Heels as a team have been 15 of 18 at the line in this game. Trimble the inbounder. Davis, Trimble, Ryan, Ingram, Baycott. Trimble still trying to get it in. Bounces into Davis. He is double-teamed. Finds Ryan on the baseline. Ryan coming front side, and he's fouled by Carrington. So that's the second on Carrington. And again, Ryan, 27 of 30 this year at the free throw line. Will have 2 shots. The clock down to 1:10, with Carolina still up 10, 64-54. Ryan, the veteran. Good on the first. Guillermo Diaz-Graham will replace Federico for Pitt. Tar Heels with a quick huddle. Second free throw coming for Ryan. Spins it, dribbles twice, shoots, got them both. That one did tip the front iron as it went in. 66-54. Carrington, front side for Pitt. He's going to try and force up a three. No good. Ryan with the rebound. He'll protect it. Now try to dribble out of trouble. Gets it ahead to R.J. Davis. Pitch ahead to Baycott. He'll gather his feet and hammer it home. Exclamation point for Baycott. 68-54. Baycott has played well in this second half in particular. Henson will try a step-back three. Got it from the left sideline. Just his second made three of the game. Then Ryan is fouled on the inbound by Lowe. That's Lowe's fourth foul. Ryan will have 2 shots. The Baycott dunk followed by the Henson three makes it 68-57. Carolina by 11 with 40.8 seconds to go. Henson came in shooting 44% from 3. He is 2 of 11 tonight, 4 of 16 from the floor in total for 11 points.
Yes, sometimes guys have off nights. I think we really just got into his pants early on, didn't give him any open looks. Made it tough for him.
That would make it tough. Free throw good by Ryan. 69-57. Fields up by 12. Ryan gets them both, so he's gone 4 for 4 here at the line in the waning moments. Up to 10 points. The fourth Tar Heel in double figures. 32 seconds to go. Carrington on the drive. Picks up his dribble. Tough fall away. Hits the side of the backboard, and Ryan with the rebound. Don't think Pitt's going to foul. Ryan will bring it front side as Carolina will walk away with an emotional win. Hubert Davis collecting his things, is excited. And why not? Pitt tried to bring the fight from the start tonight. Carolina answered that fight and answered on the scoreboard with a 70-57 win over the Panthers. That nasty losing streak against Pitt is snapped as the Tar Heels pick up a high-quality road win to start the new year. With the victory, Carolina improves to 10-3 overall, 2-0 in conference play. Pitt falls to 9-5 in total, 0-3 in conference action for the Panthers. Carolina wins it 70-57. Coke postgame report coming up. We'll get thoughts from Pete. I'll talk to Coach Davis. Have to imagine that is a happy Tar Heel locker room. Tar Heels win it by 13, 70-57 from Learfield.
Attention Tar Heel fans, if you've had any alcohol as a part of your game day activities, make sure you don't get behind the wheel. There are more ways than ever to get home safely. You can call a friend, a cab, take a bus, or app your ride as Carolina beats Pittsburgh 70-57 to improve to 10-3 overall and 2-0 in the ACC. Let's bring Pete Chilcutt back into the broadcast. Partner, 4 players in double figures. Baycott has a double-double. Harrison Ingram was not in double figures, at least scoring, but 15 rebounds as he suffers through a 2-for-14 shooting performance, but it felt like he was able to help the team in other ways than putting the ball in the basket. Explain how important that is to have a player like that on your roster in a game like this.
Oh, it's so impressive to watch a player go out there, and while you know he's struggling offensively, to see him contribute, not hang his head down low. You know, he's a veteran, and I would expect nothing less, but to see him just almost dominate the boards. I mean, offensively, defensively, he's undersized out there, fighting, getting those rebounds, making the right plays a lot of times. You know, on those post-ups when they're pounding down there and he's forcing them to double, making the right play. And this is from a guy who is shooting horrible. So, I mean, you know, he found other ways to help this team win, and it's really impressive to watch.
Carolina, again, gets the win 70-57. Let's discuss the battle on the boards. Pittsburgh is used to out-rebounding opponents by almost 10 per game. In this one, it got out-rebounded by 10. What was Carolina able to do so well on both ends to get on the glass and limit Pitt to just 1 second chance point and do what Hubert Davis has consistently asked of his team and be among the best rebounding teams in the country?
You know, Coach Davis has been harping on that all season, and a lot of times coaches will always harp on rebounding and saying we need to do this, we can do this. But I think tonight was a proven factor that we can and we should be able to do this more consistently. I mean, the fact that we out-rebounded one of the top rebounding teams in the country and did it pretty handily. It wasn't really a struggle for us. I think the point that was really strong that you made was the offensive points off of rebounds. I mean, they had 1 versus 15 for us. That's a dominating performance by all of our whole team. I think the whole team was really helping rebounding. I think I noticed a whole bunch of times down low we had undersized guards blocking out their big guys, being really physical. And it is a team effort. But again, Coach Davis has been harping on it, and you can designate the importance of rebounding on a game like tonight where we shoot about 31% and win by 13. That's a true testament to defense and rebounding.
Yeah, to hold Pittsburgh to 31% shooting from the floor and 17% shooting from three-point range, Pete, we came into this game knowing that if Pitt was going to play its game, it was going to take a lot of three-pointers, and we'll see where the averages say they're going to go. Pittsburgh, boy, suffered through a woeful night shooting from distance. How much of an impact do you think Carolina had on that?
Well, their best shooter outside is Blake Henson, and I noticed from the very beginning, not only was he not really getting open looks, he's a big kid, has a lot of smaller guys on him, but we were really defending him well. I think I mentioned earlier we're in his pants the entire night, and for someone to get out there who's used to kind of having open looks or making them, that's kind of something that he has to adjust to, and you can tell. I mean, he really never did. He was 2 for 11 from 3-point land, and that's somebody who was shooting, I think, close to 48%, 44%, somewhere in that area. So it definitely wasn't like he had open shots he was missing. I think it was definitely due to the defensive pressure we were providing.
Carolina gets the win 70-57 over Pitt, and the Tar Heels also connect on 19 of 22 from the free throw line, which means another 1,900 meals will be donated to a local area food bank through Food Lion Feed. Score to give more program. Take a quick timeout. We hope to be hearing from Jones and Coach Davis in a mere matter of moments. In the meantime, Dave Nathan here in your Tar Heel Sports Network studios. This is the Coca-Cola postgame report. Carolina beats Pittsburgh by 13 from Learfield.
This is Carolina basketball. Our post-game coverage continues with the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show. Ford F-150, what legends are made of. See your Carolina Ford dealer today. This is the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show.
Carolina begins this stretch of 3 consecutive away from the Smith Center on a winning note, beating Pittsburgh tonight 70-57. And Jones is standing by with a victorious Hubert Davis inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Carolina wins it 70-57 over Pitt. Coach, it seemed pretty apparent from the start Panthers were here for a fight tonight, and your team responded.
We did. And a great place to show that the guys fought tonight is we out-rebounded Pitt. That's the second straight game that we've out-rebounded our opponent. Pittsburgh is the best rebounding team in our conference. And not only did we keep them off the offensive glass, we went to the offensive glass. It was fantastic. And I'm just really proud of the guys, just the way that they stepped up in pressure situations on both ends of the floor. And to see their smiles at the end of the game was just priceless. It's awesome.
The rebound totals were 51-41 Carolina. 16 offensive rebounds turned into 15 second-chance points for the Tar Heels, just 1 for Pitt. Coach, this defense of yours is starting to become a trend here. Pitt shoots just 36.5%, shoots just 31%, and 5 of 29 from three-point range. What'd you like about your defense tonight?
Well, first of all, there was great individual defense on Henson. He's one of the better players in the country, just a gifted scorer, especially from three-point range. And I felt like our guys were really disciplined and staying attached to him and not putting him on the free throw line. But there were 3 areas that we needed to be good at defensively. 1, being disciplined in defending Henson. 2, we had to be sound on ball screens. And then 3, we needed to rebound the basketball. I think we checked all 3 of those boxes.
Coach, you didn't have any points until the 13:37 mark. You were 0 for your...
Just warming up. It's cold here.
I was going to say, but you were only down 6-0 at that point, so you had a tough start, but we're still very much in the ballgame.
It is, and that's one of the things that we talk to the guys about all the time is it's about defense, rebounding, taking care of the basketball. We're not even talking about on the offensive end. That's what allows you to have success. Those are the things that keep you in a game when offensively shots aren't going in. And it's one of the best wins. It's just really happy locker room, and I'm just really excited for this team and this program.
Carolina now 10-3 on the season, 2-0 in ACC play. Another road trip to a good Clemson team coming up this weekend. Coach, congratulations on what I know was a good win for you guys, and look forward to talking with you soon.
All right, thank you very much.
And that's Jones with Coach Davis inside the Continental Tire Coach's Corner. So the Tar Heels improved to 10-3, 2-0 in the ACC, have their lowest scoring performance of the season in tonight's win. Only scored 31 in the first half, which was the fewest points in a half, but still get the win. And only shoot 36.5% in order to get the win. It might have been ugly at times, but it's good enough to get to 10-3. As we remind you, for 25 years, Top of the Hill Restaurant and Brewery has been a pre- and post-game tradition. Handcrafted beer, great food, and atmosphere where Tar Heels come to celebrate. Jones has made the quick trip back from the Carolina locker room to the scores table. He's not even out of breath. He's in game shape, folks, and he's ready to give you some final thoughts with Pete Chilcutt.
Yeah, that may be questionable, Dave, but it's a new year. Hashtag new body. Here we go. Pete, I just thought, one, it was a very happy Tar Heel locker room. That was one Carolina wanted. I think not only did they want it, I think Hubert Davis loved how they got it. And that was responding to that tough start offensively, responding to the physical nature of the game, and responding with a big-time effort, as he said, and as you said multiple times during the game, defensively and rebounding. That's where Carolina won tonight.
Yeah, it's really impressive to do it against this team who makes its mark by being physical and crashing the boards. And coaches talk about it constantly because it makes perfect sense. If you can defend and rebound, the offense will take care of itself. But it's something that they kind of preach. But a lot of times the teams really don't buy into it. Tonight you saw a team that really bought into it, and it was hard to tell who was the leading team in the conference. We were so dominant on those boards, going so hard and keeping them off the boards for the most part. So really impressive message that Coach Davis was trying to get the team to buy into, and I think the team realized tonight that, hey, again, we shot 36%. Two of our players kind of struggled from the floor. We still won comfortably. So I think it's a great lesson to learn, even with a victory, that you can take it going forward and apply that every single game we go into.
One thing, and this will be the last thing because we do need to go. We're going to be catching a ride home with the team and don't want to hold them up, of course. One thing that has been pretty clear is this team plays hard. I don't think there has been one moment this season. Carolina hasn't always played perfectly, of course, but this team plays hard. And I think Ingram's a great example of that tonight. I mean, he was 2 of 14 from the floor, but he was playing hard the whole time. He got 15 rebounds. He had 3 assists. He had 2 blocks. He just, even though he wasn't scoring like he normally does, he still was able to impact the game, and I think he did that due to his effort. Yeah,
not only him. I think the couple guys off the bench came in with some good effort. Seth came in and played another strong game.
Well.
Yeah. I thought Jalen Withers came in and played strong. A couple key plays down the stretch. So many pieces on this team, and I think the underlying theme is they're all playing hard. And I think it goes back to a lot of that thing that they've all bought into each other. They're playing for each other. They're playing for Carolina. First to the floor, we're fighting for rebounds. It's great to see.
Fun win tonight for Carolina, 70-57 over Pitt. So we're going to take a timeout. Dave will continue on with the Coke postgame report in the Carolina Ford Dealers wrap-up show. Just a reminder, next action back on the road at Clemson Saturday at noon. We'll be on the air at 11 a.m. for that one. Pete will be analyst for that one as well, so he'll be back with us down in Clemson. But for tonight, and again, don't go anywhere. Dave's still got a lot to do, including an interview Adam did with Seth Trimble a few moments ago. But tonight, Carolina wins at 70-57 over Pitt in Pittsburgh, snapping that 3-game losing streak to the Panthers from Learfield.
Welcome back to the Coca-Cola post-game report. Dave Nathan reminding you that the Tar Heels beat Pittsburgh 70-57 to improve to 10-3 and 2-0 in the ACC. Pittsburgh falls to 0-3, and again, pretty daunting schedule coming up for the Panthers just in the next couple of weeks. Have to play Syracuse again. The Orange got the earlier win against Pittsburgh and Duke twice. So nothing easy coming for the Panthers here after finishing third in last year's ACC. Pittsburgh dead last right now at the start of 2023-2024, while the Tar Heels up of the pile with Wake Forest, the only two teams that are 2-0. Duke and Syracuse currently in progress, and neither one of those teams will be 2-0. Syracuse enters play 1-1, while Duke is 0-1 in the ACC. We'll update scores coming up in a bit on the North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard. Also, if you missed any of Jones and Coach Davis, we'll replay that. In the meantime, sounds like we're getting ready to hear from Seth Trimble, who had 10 points, 6 rebounds, and played 23 minutes. For Trimble, he has his 4th double-figure scoring game of the season, sets a new career high for rebounds, besting the 4 that he had against Arkansas in Nassau. So another big-time game for Seth Trimble, who has improved leaps and bounds year over year from his first year to second year. And Adam Lucas had a chance to catch up with the Wisconsin native.
Alongside Seth Trimble after Carolina wins at Pittsburgh. Seth, no secret, Pittsburgh wants to try to be a little tougher than Carolina and thinks they can do it. Why couldn't they do it tonight?
We're just the type of team, straight out. 5 deep, 15 deep. What are we, 14 deep? We're just the type of team, and we made sure we showed it all 40 minutes.
What about defensively in the second half? What was the key to forcing them into so many bad shots?
Just to sit down, really. We were giving up a lot defensively in the first half, and I think that's why it was a close game. We weren't playing well. We were getting up a lot, and we just came with the mindset of just shutting what we need to shut down, and forcing them to the shots we want them to take is going to win us the game.
Started 0 for 10 from the field offensively. How were you able to manage that and not let it snowball and turn into something worse, and then even have the lead at halftime?
Just continue to play our game. I think when we try and change things up, that's when things go wrong. Things can go bad. So just staying on our path. We were getting good shots. Shots just weren't falling, but continuing to play our game was huge for us this game.
Jones talked about this during the game about how much more comfortable you look pushing the ball in transition and making decisions or scoring. How do you feel like you've gotten better at that?
I've definitely gotten much better. My progress, I don't like to compliment myself too much, but I think I've taken a huge step with my progress. And I just think 95% of it was mental. It was a mental approach, and I'm just I'm glad I'm taking that next step.
At what point did you see the signs of frustration and know that the defense you were playing and just the overall effort was making a difference?
As it started to get more towards crunch time at the end of the game, towards that 4 minute mark, we really started to, kind of establish and, stamp our presence, and I'm glad we did that.
Tar Heels stamped their presence with a win at Pittsburgh. Good win for the Heels. Seth, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Carolina basketball has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Take a taste. And by Hunt Brothers Pizza, the official pizza of Carolina Athletics. This is the Carolina Ford Dealers Wrap-Up Show.
70-57, Carolina wins on the road and beats Pittsburgh. Welcome back. Dave Nathan with you here from the studio. Jones and Pete, Adam, and Ben are all heading back from Western Pennsylvania. And again, this is just the first of 3 consecutive road games for the Tar Heels, who will be at Clemson at noon on Saturday and then in Raleigh against NC State a week from tomorrow. There's just no let-up in the schedule for Carolina, but the Tar Heels get it done tonight and win by 13, 70-57. They say Coke Zero is irresistibly tasty. Does that make it the best Coke ever? Find out for yourself. Let's find out what tonight's play of the game was.
Shot clock is getting low. Davis to a cutting Baycott. Pull up. Too strong. Withers with the tip dunk with the left hand.
And that's 2 of Jalen Withers' 6 points. He had 3 rebounds in 12 minutes, and it's our Coca-Cola play of the game as the Tar Heels beat Pittsburgh by 13, 70-57. To run through some of the stats, again, the Tar Heels placed 4 in double figures. Armando Baycott leading the way with 16 points and 10 rebounds. Baycott with his 6th double-double on the season, 74th career double-double for the fifth-year player from out of Richmond. And shot the ball well, did Baycott. 5 of 10 from the floor, 6 of 6 from the stripe. 15 points for R.J. Davis to go with 4 assists and 3 rebounds. 10 points each for Cormac Ryan and Seth Trimble. We told you earlier that despite the fact Harrison Ingram had an off-night shooting, just 2 of 14, he was big on the boards. A career-high 15. His Carolina season high was 10. He had accomplished that twice. His career high was 11 against San Jose State back when he was at Stanford in November of 2021. So Ingram with a big night on the boards against one of the best rebounding teams in Pittsburgh helps Carolina to the 70-57 win. Elliot Cadeau fought a lot of foul trouble tonight, finished with 4 points and 2 assists, only played 15 minutes. Ingram finished with 7 points, 15 boards, 3 assists, played 35 minutes. Withers had those 6 points. Jalen Washington connected on 2 at the free throw line. Paxton Wojcik played but did not score in Carolina's 10th win of the season. So we'll take a break, come back, run through the updated North Carolina Farm Bureau scoreboard as that Duke-Syracuse game is nearing the halftime break. Carolina's game has gone final, 70-57, and that will conclude things for our broadcast, which is always produced by Tar Heel Sports Properties, a property of Learfield. Our Our general manager is Chuck Schrader. Phil Brains, the network manager. Network coordinator Paul Roper. Our thanks to Chief Network Engineer Ben Alexander. And John Essick pushing all the right buttons back in the studio. For Jones Angel, Pete Chilcutt, Adam Lucas, and the rest of our crew, my name is Dave Nathan. Reminding you that our next broadcast begins with the Reed's Jewelers pregame show. That'll come your way on Saturday at 11 a.m. when the Tar Heels play at Clemson. Once again, our final score, Carolina 70, Pittsburgh 57. And you heard it all right here on the Tar Heels Sports Network.
Carolina Basketball has been brought to you by Wells Fargo, official retail bank sponsor of Carolina Athletics. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Tar Heels Sports Network.